What is happening, everybody? So, I don't know if you can hear me right now, but I am doing another studio session right now. So I'll be covering some of the recap from my time in Oregon. So need y'all to bear with me. We're going to be doing a little bit of the trial and error issue right here. We're going to be processing a little bit, getting it done. So just want to make sure that everyone can hear me. Sounds clear. Angelica, I appreciate that. Mariah, how you doing? Cynthia, what's going on? Watching from the Philippines. What's up, Maria? Hey, travel far and wide. I love it. Love it. What up, Mo? Yeah, so Jennifer and Kenosha, what's going on? Kenosha, running strong. We're going to take a little time. There's been a lot of stuff happening in the world, but there's been a lot of stuff that's happened in the last month for all of us, it would appear. And so tonight I'm going to be talking to folks that were down. What's up in Cary, Louisville? How you doing? I'm going to be talking to folks that are down in Oregon, talking to some of the folks from Vernonia Cavalry that were helping with the animal evacuation. Also, I'm going to be talking to our guy Mike Peel from Peel Logging, who's a stud. Love this guy. You guys remember him from a little show called Axemen? And also, we're going to kick things off with Grandpa Rob. If you guys remember him from Stony Brook's Stables, which is it's a boarding stable for horses. And I'll let him tell you a little bit more about it. If you didn't happen to get a chance to catch the original broadcast. So as you're watching, I want you to keep in mind that there are going to be links that we're going to pop up in here in the comments that you'll be able to go over to YouTube eventually, and we'll be able to watch the full videos from any of these interviews that we've done and had a chance to talk to these folks. So I appreciate you guys tuning in with me this evening and for bearing my lack of comfort when it comes to sitting in a chair and trying to do a broadcast. This is very much not my normal operation, but we're figuring it out as we go. So I appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to have comments up. Yeah, Michelle, yeah. So I'd tell you guys what. Krista, hey, my prayers are with you. I wish you all the best. Yeah, some good people. But really, a couple things I want to touch on real fast. The weekend that we had was pretty intense. Just in the notion that we had some very different viewpoints and ideology, and I'm referring specifically to my time that I spent interviewing folks in that Proud Boy rally, and then of course later that evening being with the protest crowd in front of the Justice Center. It was interesting. It was very interesting. I know we've had a lot of mixed reviews about how that went, and of course then we had that debacle of a debate the other night, which was, did everybody watch that? Did you guys watch the debate? If you did, I'm sorry, because that was. Actually, I saw a little meme someone did. Actually, it wasn't a meme. It was a screenshot, and they did one of the Apple iPhone thing, I'm guessing, where you can put a baby face on people, and it was a back and forth screen cut of the the president and Joe Biden going back and forth, and it was hilarious. Also, hey, shout out. I didn't know how to read it first. DJ Elrad on YouTube did a pretty funny video. Which was about the debates. So if you guys get a chance, check out DJ Elred over on YouTube. Some pretty funny stuff. But honestly, when I first saw those videos on DJ Elred, I didn't know if they were making fun of me or I couldn't figure it out. And then I saw the plug, go and check these journalists out. So I appreciate that. And if I read that wrong and I'm plugging you and it ends up coming back to kick me in the ass, then that's my bad. But either way. Yeah, so I saw the debate was definitely a joke. But back to what I was saying about the Proud Boys situation. So you heard what the president was when he was addressed with the question about the alt-right and the being white supremacist, he kind of danced around that, which I, I was really hoping to hear an answer from him. I legitimately, guys, like on that interview, I was so hoping to get some type of like, you know, understanding or belief or better comfort in some of our front runners. Just gonna leave it at that. I was hoping for a lot. I guess expectations leave you disappointed sometimes. But yeah, it was bad. And I mean, not just because of the dialogue that they had between each other, but the fact that we didn't actually talk about some of these major issues that I was super excited to hear about. I mean, they hit some of the major points, and I was really curious to hear legitimate views on both sides, but you know, that didn't happen. So before I jump too far into it, though, guys, I want to give a big thank you to all the mods that have been running heavy and strong, keeping everything going. Steph, you're amazing. Thank you so much for doing it. Shama, you're incredible. Thank you so much for everything you've done to help make this all work. It's not an easy task to do this, and trust me, guys, just trying to put this together today was a huge process too. So I guarantee it's going to have hiccups. So that's just how we do, right? That being said, we're going to take a little time to talk to some folks today, and go further, but go a little further into things. But yeah, some of the things that keyed me in about the weekend were actually, I'm going to say this because I got asked a lot of questions about my views about the Proud Boys and whether or not they are a white supremacist group. Now, right down the line, any group that you have that grows to any number, any size, is going to have tons of different ideology and personal viewpoints and beliefs within that structure. Enrique Taro said that they were a drinking club, a fraternity for men that had a patriot problem, as he worded it. And again, you guys can watch this full video over on YouTube if you want to check that out. But in some of the interviews that I did and talking to folks, and the things that I saw, mind you, not just the interviews that I did, because I was very curious to talk to as many people as possible, but they're not really all that open to press, and I was able to kind of navigate through some of that. But one of the things that I did find interesting was something I saw was somebody flashed the new white power hand gesture at us, and the guy next to him reached over and slapped his hand down and told him to knock that dumb shit off, word for word. And we were all kind of like, wow, okay. And I wrote this in a comment response earlier, and one of the things that we saw there was a group holding itself accountable or to a higher standard. And so by judging a group off the basis of some of the people within the group, it does tend to generalize. And on that, it's easy to go ahead and categorically add a group into some demographic or greater fundamental belief system. And again, I'm not putting a title on them at all. But these are my observatory comments here. I've also seen in the protests people, that are hucking rocks and bottles that have said they don't give a damn about BLM. They just hate the police. And so within all these different groups, there's going to be different beliefs and ideology. So we need to do our diligence to try to better investigate, everything we do, and better understand it. But did I see and hear white supremacist comments and gestures in the Proud Boy camp? Yeah, absolutely I did. And on the other side, I've heard some incredibly profiling things within the protest ranks as well. So, but I've also seen some pretty amazing things, some gestures in all different walks of life, from not just those two groups, but in all the many groups that I've been around that have been pretty amazing. So I just hope we can dig deeper, guys, and look further and do better to investigate and kind of figure things out as we can go in the direction of change. And what I was mentioning was, if that one person in that one particular group happened to have the gumption to smack that hand down and say, knock that shit off, how different would the world be right now? Or how different would the structure of things right now be had one of the officers told Officer Chauvin to get off of George Floyd. If there had just been one officer there that had pulled him off, like, hey, get your knee off him, would it be any different? I mean, there'd still be a struggle. There'd still be a need for a push for equality, but we'd also have a group holding itself to a higher standard, and that's really what people are looking for, right? They're looking for accountability within the ranks of not just the police force, but I think we as people, we all need to hold ourselves as Jay Roberts, a guy who I've got a ton of respect for down in Portland, said, to a higher standard of excellence. And I mentioned this before, and I think that's incredible. That thought, that sentiment, that viewpoint of just maintaining the understanding that we represent whatever we are and whoever we are, and I think that we had to look at that and appreciate that we do. I know I represent this, and so I try to hold myself to a higher level of excellence. I'm not always the best at it, but I think I'm getting better. Anyway, moving forward, I want you guys to better research things on your end with everything that is Proud Boys and everything else that's out there. So, and I'm going to call right now. I'm going to call Grandpa Rob. Hopefully he hasn't fallen asleep because I know it's getting close to his bedtime. And I know we got Mike Peel hanging out in the waiting room here. And Mike will be jumping in with you here in just a few. First things first, though, we're going to go ahead and jump in with Robert from Stony Brook here for a few minutes. Give me just a moment, guys. I'm going to give him a shout. And I'm going to get a chance. You guys remember Uncle or Grandpa Rob, right? He is I'm going to do this right here. Like I said, maybe he's already fallen asleep, and if that's the case, then Robert, how we doing?
Just trying to get it by a good fit.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Real fine.
I love to hear it, man. This is CJ from CJ TV.
Yeah, I kind of recognize your voice.
Yeah, you can recognize it. Huh? That's great. That's great. Hey, how's everything been? How you doing?
Oh, we're doing just fine. I mean, things are kind of getting back to normal, and versus normal, whatever normal is for 2020. But I mean,
right.
We're doing our best.
Right. Hey, so are you back home now?
Oh yeah, we're back home. We've been back home for the best part of a week. We got all the time for our 45th wedding anniversary, so that was kind of nice.
The 47th wedding anniversary.
45th.
45th. Congratulations. That's fantastic.
But it only seems like 37.
Well played, sir. Well played. So are all of your horses back home?
Oh yeah, everybody came back. Everybody's in great shape. I got stepped on, so I'm the only one that was lame. But aside from that, the horses really did well. I had so many volunteers there. I feel like they were walking up several times a day, and it was different from the horses than what they were used to. But everybody was just marvelous the way we were treated. And I talked to other people. I guess we had the gold star. Yeah,
I know. They set you guys up. Yeah, they set you up. You had that the trailer, and you were really, they really put some time into taking care of you. And I know you had how many horses out there?
Well, we had 22, but I gained 6 pounds. I mean, who goes on a camping trip like that and gains 6 pounds? I guess you could say I was an easy keeper.
It's funny because your horses looked incredibly healthy too. They looked happy. I know you kind of showed me how to feed them apples and whatnot as well. We're looking at that right now in the video.
Well, here's a situation of problems. Everybody has problems. You really can't predict what's going to happen or where. But the thing about it is, it's not the problem. It's how you handle it.
Well said. Yeah, that's good. So how is the property around your house? Is it pretty smoky still, or how is that handled right now?
Well, it's kind of interesting. We're pretty good as far as the local smoke. But right now, we're getting smoke up from California, and it's really high. It's about 10,000-foot level for your weatherman.
Oh,
So
wow.
we don't smell any smoke, but it's just kind of a real high haze.
Are both sides of your house out of the evacuation zone now? Because I know you had a line in your house where half of your home was in the evacuation zone, and then the other half was where the wife was hanging out, right?
Well, she made a big deal of it because the half that was in the evacuation zone was from the kitchen and the laundry room, and she was happy to evacuate from those locations.
She wasn't doing dishes or laundry the whole time, huh?
No, well, she's a little sneak, you know. I mean, she spent one night at one daughter's and 2 nights at the other daughter's, and then she came back here. Well, we had some friends that came by and just insisted that she go, so they helped her pack the dog up, and she followed them out. They went one way, and she went the other way, and as soon as they were outside, she came back home. And then the thing that was really funny about it, she got busted right away because they left their telephone on top of her car. And so they come back to get the telephone, and here she was. And of course, the telephone, lucky enough, was still on the roof of her car after going about 7 or 8 miles.
Really? Wow. I had an experience like that once. I thought someone threw a rock in my window, and it turned out that I had left my cell phone on top of the car, and when I drove away, it fell through the sunroof and hit me in the face.
Well, you are even luckier. But I mean, that's what happens when you have a Swedish Norwegian wife. You can't tell them much.
You've got wisdom that the world needs to hear.
Oh yeah,
Robert.
You know, the funny thing about it is everybody thinks that that they understand women, but I don't claim to. But the word they like to hear the best is "you're right, dear." That's why we've been married for 45 years. I learned that early on.
Maybe that's why I'm single. I haven't quite figured that out yet. I'm going to write that down. How's that go? You're right, dear, huh?
You're right, dear. Those are 4 magic words. The thing about this is you don't always have to believe those words. You just have to practice it.
Just practice it. Rehearse it and get it down. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So tell me a little bit. I want everyone to hear a little bit about what you do at Stony Brook. Robert.
Well, we do a number of things. We're a boarding barn. We have we can board up to I think 36 or 37 horses. We're not boarding that many right now, but we do lessons, both riding and driving. We've got a program for special needs people, and we give lessons to people from Whole Gully, 6, 7 years old up to 92. Our program is not a fit therapy program; it's a grandpa program, and we teach insist on grandpa IDs. For example, we shake hands and look each other in the eye. Well, not so much lately, more like bumping elbows.
Yeah.
And but I mean, it's a situation that we can have someone driving a horse within a matter of a couple, 3 lessons. They might be very proficient at it, but I sit right next to them so that they're comfortable. And it's a situation where it's very empowering for someone who, is the last one to get chosen at school for, intramural games or anything like that. That after a few lessons, they're out driving a horse that's 1,000 pounds.
Wow.
In fact, Palomino Pino is our number. He's a supreme grand champion driving horse, and he'll do flying lead changes when I drive him. But he's just a perfect gentleman when someone who needs special attention is driving him.
Wow. You take incredible care of your horses. I know that as we're talking, I'm watching a video of you kind of walking us through the stables and introducing me to a lot of your horses. And I know that you have a couple stallions that are in there. You have your big guy who his wife and daughter are there as well, and the big black stallion. Which one was that? He was down in the corner. Actually, we're walking up to him.
Luca the Bay.
Luca.
Bay. But yeah, Luca the Dark Bay, and he's a Canadian stallion. And this is a rare breed. The Canadians first came to North America in 1600, 1865 from France, and they were a gift from King Louis the 14th to the Quebec. That's how it was called, New France.
Quebec.
And they've been instrumental in some of the breeds like Morgans and Saddlebreds, and they're just an all-round horse. They were bred for soundness and temperament.
Yeah.
And like Lucas never had a pair of shoes on, and when we were doing combined driving with him, we used to in training we'd drive him 70 miles a week or trot.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Have you broke it to his better half that he's got a baby on the way with another lady?
No, that's the gossip. I don't spread gossip.
You don't spread. What happens at Stony Brook stays in Stony Brook.
Yeah, pretty much.
You've got life figured out, Robert. You've got it figured out, man. I love it.
Well, I got it figured out. We have a kind of a meeting room for everybody to assemble if they want to. It's got fireplace, and piano, and all that kind of stuff in it. And it's called the Woman Cave. And it does actually say that what happens in the Woman Cave stays in the Woman Cave.
You know how to cover your bases, my friend. Like, you have really figured this out. You've got it down to an incredible science on how to live a happy life.
It's taken me a long time. It's one of the things that happens when you get old.
Yeah. So what's next on the agenda for you? Like, what's on the horizon for you and Stony Brook?
Well, we got a couple things going. I'm rebuilding a Surrey with a French on top. And if you've ever seen the movie or the musical Oklahoma, if you can see a good example of that. And we'll be, this is assuming that we get through COVID. If we get through COVID, we'll be doing a sailing review at the Northwest Expo in Albany in March. And then for the 4th of July, we'll be doing with that Surrey, we'll be doing the Grand Marshal for the Standing Parade. We'll be carrying him. And then in August, when the Yamhill County Fair and Rodeo has their program, we'll be leading the grand procession with the Surrey and Luke.
That's amazing. I love it.
So that's pretty much what we've got planned so far this year, more things could happen, but that's a pretty full plate if you look at it.
Yeah, no, from hanging out at the Yamhill Fairgrounds to a full calendar, you've really made the transition. Hey, how was everything at the farm? Was there any damage done fire-wise back at the ranch?
No, there was no fire damage, but we do have some roof damages from the wind. It's funny where we're located, when you get an east wind out of the gorge, it's a north wind, because of the way it comes through the hills. And so we had some 60 and 70 mile an hour winds that lifted some shingles. Yeah. But other than that, there wasn't any soot or anything like that. We were just really blessed when it comes to that sort of thing. And roofs are easy to repair, but fire damage isn't so easy. Right.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm just glad you made it home and the horses all made it back to where they need to be. And you're doing well.
Every horse came back. We gave them a week off just because horses, have a huge lump. It goes clean back past the ribs, and so we wanted to make sure that there wasn't any issues with smoke irritation or that sort of thing. And there wasn't any evidence of it. But it didn't hurt to give him a week off. And Reno was out giving lessons again today.
Really? Oh, man, you guys jump right back to it. That's good. At least you had a little bit of time to kind of, stretch out a little bit and recoup. How's the now? You had a hurt. How's your shoulder doing? I remember you had a hurt shoulder at the time.
That's just what I was going to tell you. I get to lay down during the middle of the day on Sunday because that's when I get my MRI.
That's the only nap you get is during the MRI.
Well, you got to take it where you can get it. Believe me. This is a farm. I quit at night by the clock, not because everything's done.
I hope that everybody listening to this right now and everyone watching is taking cues from this man right here, how to live a happy, healthy life with the person of your choice, and how to work Work and earn a day. I tell you what, that's amazing, Robert. You're an inspiration, my man.
Yes, I've made my share of mistakes. And of course, my dad. I told my dad one time that I was pretty smart because I learned from my mistakes. And he says, "Well, why don't you be brilliant and learn from somebody else's?"
Why don't you be brilliant and learn from someone else's? What was the best advice you ever got from your parents? Other than that,
I be yourself and do what you want to do.
What was the worst advice?
I don't remember ever getting bad advice from my dad. my dad was the biggest character you ever saw in your life. I mean, you're growing up with him with an event. I mean, for example, he sat at the head of the big table for dinner. And nobody ever sat in his place, even when he wasn't there. But on our birthdays, we would sit at his place at the table, and he would sit at ours when we were having a birthday cake.
Okay.
And that was probably the best birthday present we ever had.
That's amazing. So you got a chance to play dad for the night, right?
Pardon?
You got a chance to be dad for the night.
Well, actually, it was just in our family that the head of the table was a place of honor, and that we were honored that night.
Yeah, that's beautiful. How many? Did you have many siblings?
I've got 3 sisters and 2 brothers.
Oh wow, it's a full family. Just the happy half dozen of you, huh?
Well, there was 8 people around the table. Those are the days when you had dinner with your family every night.
Right. Yeah.
The other thing my dad did that was kind of interesting is when we would sit at the dinner table, we would ask each one of us what we did that day. And he would be very intently listen to each one of us. And of course, some of the younger ones are like 4 and 5, and they come up with some of the weirdest stories about how they ran into polar bears and all kinds of stuff like that. He'd listen to them. This is intently as if what they were saying was a gospel truth.
Yeah. It sounds like, I mean, I hope that the world right now, Robert, can get back to like those fundamentals, right? Those basic beliefs that really, I think, carried us through a lot of incredibly difficult times throughout the course of the history of our country. I mean, it's through wars and depressions and everything that's kind of taken us away from the comfort of life. And I think that like the structure and that the belief that you're talking about that you were raised in, I think is what we as a country need to work and a world need to work to get back towards. So
one of the best things that happened there at the fairgrounds was at night there was no television. And everybody would sit around that table where that tent was, and they'd swap stories, and it was just a wonderful experience hearing about different experiences that different people had, telling jokes. Some of them were maybe jokes you wouldn't want to say too much in public, but I mean they were still fun. And the 9 days I never saw any television, and I never missed it a bit. And it was actually kind of hard to come back to television after we came back home.
Right. Yeah.
Now, that's probably the wrong thing to say to a news media guy, but it really was true.
I never watch TV. I don't like legitimate. I barely have time to even. I mean, this is the most screen time. Well, it's not the most screen time, but this is just where I'm at. Hey, let me ask you before I forget. I know we've had some people that are really curious about. Is there any account that you have for donations or for Stony Brook where people can go to help support any of the growth or development for Stony Brook, or just to help develop the programs that you're working on? Is there any donation places that are there with Stony Brook?
Well, I can answer that briefly. We haven't. I mean, there's always things we can use here. Like right now, we've got a lot of roof damage. But I haven't asked for anything like that because I didn't want to diminish anything that I said.
Well, let me ask for you then. So what could you use for the roof damage? Is it material or the actual elbow grease and hammers and nails that you need?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes to all of it.
Yeah.
Hey, I tell you what if I commit to coming down there and spending a day or two working on that roof with you? or for you?
The thing about it is, this roof is about 25 feet off the ground.
Okay, well, maybe I want to pull that back a little bit.
I really appreciate it, but I mean, it's a type of roof that takes people with proper equipment and the experience. It's you know what I'm trying to say. And I really appreciate what you're saying, and I'd love to have you. But it's like you know what I'm trying to say. It's a little more to it. You're off the ground pretty high. Okay. We're 15 feet to the gable. We're 15 feet off the ground. It's a really jumping.
Okay.
If you can see it, if you go to StonybrookStable.org,
gotcha.
It's our website. But like I said, this is a building that's 72 feet wide and 220 feet long, and we've jumped horses in there 5 feet.
Wow. So on the screen right now, guys, what you're seeing is the location. It's in Eagle Creek, Oregon, and there's StonybrookStable.org and a phone number there. I put your information up on the screen here for everyone to see. And if there's anybody that's down in that area or knows anybody in that area that has roofing experience and is able to contribute their time or material, please have them reach out to these to the phone number listed below. Or if you go to the .org, I'm sure that there's going to be an email associated there. You can go in, reach out and talk to Robert, and or maybe even stop in and say hi and visit the lady cave that you've got, and take a look at what Stony Brook's got going. And I just really want to encourage everyone to do what they can to help out, or make a call. If you know anybody in the area, you know anybody that's got a skill set that they can contribute, let's go ahead and send them Robert's way. So.
Well, that's really nice of you. I appreciate it. But like I said, I did put the call out on my own because we had a nice conversation when you had your when we did that video earlier, and like I said, it's just so often people say things because they got an ulterior motive. And I just wanted to call it. Hey. I could have ended, by the way. That's what happens when you're Irish.
Yeah, I can vouch for that one. I can vouch for it. Well, Robert, that's what I'm here for, and I'm just happy to know that, what we're doing right now, what the entire time I was in Oregon was all about trying to find a way to help and contribute some kind of assistance to, the upheaval and, the terrible situation that's happening with up and down the West Coast, with the fires that are raging around. So we want to continue to do that as best we can. And so I just want you to know how much we appreciate you taking the time to not just earlier to talk with me, but to entertain my ramblings today. And it's a real honor to have a chance to have met you and to know that what you're doing out at Stony Brook is close to my heart. That you're helping with people that are that have special needs and giving them a chance to get to know these incredible horses that you spent so much time with. It's refreshing and it's beautiful to see, Robert, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you. I appreciate it too.
Yeah. Well, was there anything else happening that you wanted to let us know about, or are you feeling? I know you said you got to get to bed early because you're up at how early do you get up, Robert?
Well, I usually roll out around 5.
Roll out around 5. I think I'm falling asleep right around then.
I'm old enough that I haven't jumped out of bed anymore, but rolling out still, I can still do that.
You just got to hope and pray that both feet hit the floor at some point and you don't, right?
Well, you just do the best you can, I mean, I get up in the morning and thankful that I woke up. I mean, what else can you do? Some people don't,
Yeah, there are those that haven't been so blessed, and God rest them all, and that's great. I know our next guest on the show tonight, he also has an incredibly early day ahead of him. So I'm going to go ahead and Robert, I'm going to let you go. Everyone, the information's up here. Take some screenshots, screen grabs, whatever you want to call it. Reach out if you got any way you can help out, or if you just want to send some love or a fruit basket. I'm sure Rob would appreciate it. So, Robert, again, thank you so much for the time tonight. I'm going to let you go, but expect to be seeing me knocking at your door here sometime soon, okay?
Okay, great. Good night, and God bless.
Likewise, Robert. Take care.
Okay.
Goodbye. What an awesome guy. You know, this guy he's the best. And just a beautiful outlook on life, and you know, just and a character too. You know, he's just an absolute character. So I mean, what great to have had a chance to talk to him. Yeah, yeah. So I'm not gonna waste too much time here, guys. I'm gonna jump kind of quickly into the the next guy that I've got lined up here. I know he's been patiently waiting in the waiting room here. Mike, I appreciate you staying the course, my friend. Another amazing interview that I was super excited about was with this gentleman right here. And that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump on into this guy right here. So bear with me for 1 minute here. I am going to do this here, and hopefully this doesn't give me any grief, but it just might. So give me a second. But you guys remember Mike Peel from Peel Logging? Great guy. We were down there. We had a chance to talk to him about a lot of stuff that was happening, about the forest thinning and how that could have been done different, about some of the opportunities that he had he took an opportunity to kind of walk us through his property and show us around a little bit, and which was awesome. And what I'm trying to do now is, I apologize, guys. I'm having a little bit of a hiccup. My technology's here.
There we go.
There it is.
Mike, are you in there?
I'm here.
There he is. I apologize for the holdup. I'm having an issue on my side here with my my screen here. I don't know what's going on with it.
No worries. I know how things go. So I'd like to start out with a shout out to Robert there at Stony Brook Stables. I mean, what a good, solid American. So
Right?
shout to Robert.
He's the best. I mean,
Yes.
did you? Well, you might not have seen it because you and I hadn't quite been acquainted yet. But the original interview I did with him out of the stables there that we were watching on the video there was just incredible. Like, he is just the nicest guy. You know, he just salt of the earth, real, just good dude.
Very genuine.
Very genuine, absolutely. The so I'm gonna have to go ahead and ask my other half here, who's in the stream with me here, to kind of take control of the screen for me here, because mine is frozen on me. So you're gonna have to take it from here, Sham, as far as controlling all of the finite details. That being said, because I've full on lost it, and I'm not trying to shut this down and come back up. So, unless I can. So what's been happening, Mike? Talk to me.
So, you know, we're logging away. We're very fortunate. We didn't get burnt out in this area, but a lot of my buddies, I mean, they lost their whole complete logging sites. There's nothing left of their equipment. And, you know, in a nutshell, they're my age. So, I mean, are they going to fire back up again? Or are they going to retire? And also, you know, their timber burned up for their next 40 years. I mean, you think about it right now, you think about the moment, but all that ground that burned up, that's the next 40-year log supply for all these mills. So what are these towns going to live on? And again, we're very fortunate that we didn't get hit with the fires here. But we've helped out a lot of people in those areas, Malala, Estacada, where they've gotten burned out. And through Timber Unity, we have taken them a lot of good hay. A lot of the people from, basically the southeast, you know, Burns, Klamath Falls, Bonanza, they have brought so much hay to us. And then we distribute it to the people in need. So we make sure it goes to the people whose livestock and animals, see you later, and animals need it. And also it goes to all the areas where they took on rescue animals. The first person that came and got hay,
Wow.
he had 170 animals delivered to his farm. So
Wow.
he came and got 3 loads of hay and was very
Yeah.
thankful for us being there. And also we're super thankful that he's there and has the facilities to take on that many animals, which is a giant, giant task. And then also, how do you keep track of which animal is whose and how that works? But that's way, rural Oregonians work. If somebody gets in trouble, we're all right there in a heartbeat to help them out.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys just did a massive load just the tail end of this last week, right? Just this last Saturday, I believe it was. Timber Unity. They pulled
Just
it
of
was
hay
like
come
7.
into Tangent,
Yeah.
and then everybody comes in their pickups and trailers, and we always ask them the magic questions. Where's it going? What type of livestock are you feeding, or what type of livestock are you feeding, so we know which type of hay to get to them. And then we've got dog food, cat food. We even had, believe it or not, ferret food donated. So somebody had a ferret.
I know we were at the Yam Hill, and they had food I didn't even know animal. I guess I just figured all birds ate dirt. Maybe
Yeah,
that was my understanding apparently, but they had like 18 different types of bird feed there for chickens, turkeys, and yeah, and it's funny because speaking of turkeys, I know that we had you've got
yep,
some turkeys out there.
I do, and they're still doing good.
Are they?
Yeah, and
They're
they're just like pets. They look forward to me coming home.
do they
Yeah, they
greet you
do.
at the door?
Huh?
Did they greet you when you get there?
Oh, they start gobbling and making their noise, and then I always got to say hi to Bigfoot too. So, and they get along great.
The yeah, I'm looking on the screen right now. You've probably seen it too, right? The turkeys.
Yeah, it makes me miss them right now.
Huh. Where are you at right now?
I'm here at the office, and luckily my office girl came in because I know how to get logs out. I know how to manage a forest. I've never been on a computer in my entire life, so she got me all set up, and she just took off and leaving me here by myself.
That's when things typically go wrong. I know that's how it
That's
works for
right.
me.
Yep.
Yeah. So tell me what else is happening out there now. Something you guys need to know about Mike is, and I'm just going to tell him. I know you don't bring it up, but I'm going to anyway. Is Mike was on a show called Axemen on the History Channel for 11 seasons. And the reason I'm segueing into that is you've been doing this for a long time. You've been logging since you got confused one day when your dad told you to be a lawyer, right?
Yeah, my dad said, "Oh, you should be a lawyer," because my dad was. He was in a circuit court judge. He goes, "Oh, you should be a lawyer," and I thought he said logger, so I said, "Okay, Dad." It was probably the best decision I ever made.
You love what you're doing, and I love that about you. And you've got an incredible knowledge when it comes to obviously your profession, but also the way things could have been changed and done differently to help stave off a lot of the fires that we're seeing right now, right?
Yeah, so basically, this was a very unusual event. So actually, I even pulled up the Tillamook burn while I was sitting here waiting. That was the big fire we had around here, and it burnt 350,000 acres, which is a pile of acres.
What is that? If you could compare that to, like, what would that be compared to? I mean, city wise or landmass wise?
Well, it basically took out from in our area from Forest Grove all the way to the coast to Tillamook. So it took out about 30 miles. So that was 350,000 acres. And so
Wow.
far, because I looked it up, this summer alone in Oregon, it burned up a little over 1 million acres. And, you can't blame the whole thing on mismanagement. I mean, definitely the forest needs to be managed, but a lot of it was we had a horrendous east wind. We had the lowest humidity I've ever seen in my life that I recall. And then, one of these fires, it started on the federal forest. It burned for a week or two. They never put it out. And then that thing just took off, and timber and houses and people and wildlife and livestock, and it just wiped out everything. It's just unbelievable.
Could you tell me a little bit about federal forests? Maybe explain that a little bit to people. Like, what exactly are federal forests and how things
So
could have been done different? Yeah.
so federal forest, it could be owned by the Department of Interior or uh, Bureau of Land Management, which we call BLM. But there's different entities of the federal government. But some of it needs to be protected, but some of it also needs to be managed. You need to take the dead stuff out of there. You need to keep the roads open if there's ever a fire. That way you can get in there. And they always talk about, well, we don't have the budget to do that. In our world, you make money when you thin. It's not a deficit. You make money, you keep the forest healthy, and the forest is just like a human body. Do you just let yourself go for 75 years and never go to the doctor, never get anything checked out? No, just like a forest. Do you just let it keep going? No, the best thing to do is go in there, take the dead ones out, you know, look for ones that have problems, they're going to fall over, the heavy leaners, and you take care of the forest just like you do a human body. You take care of it, and then it lasts longer. And then also you don't have these massive wildfires like you have now.
Yeah, you now on screen right now, you did a little walkthrough with me of your property, which was really interesting because you showed us the proper way to actually thin because you had that load of wood that you had on your truck ready to go, and and you were showing us kind of a walkthrough of how to properly thin out a forest. And you said that, and you kind of we talked a little bit about numbers, but when it came down to it, that the amount of money that could be generated, not lost, but generated from actually properly thinning those federal forests would have been money enough to help allocate into a lot of these programs that they're trying to get. I think that would have fed into a lot of things that are happening in the world right now. We're looking for an allocation of funds to go into different programming, but you made it very clear it wouldn't have cost a single dime if given the proper management of said program, of the thinning program, which it sounds like you'd be the man for.
So basically, here in Oregon, they just started this new tax, corporate activity tax,
Okay.
which is killing a lot of us in the private industry. If they would just manage their timber, that money would come from there and it would supply money to the police departments, libraries, fire departments, schools. It would fund everything. But instead, they choose not to do very much. And then they keep asking us for more tax money, more tax money. And there's nothing left of us. Everybody thinks, oh, you have your own business. You're a stupid millionaire. It's not going to hurt you. Well, it does hurt us. And the only reason we maybe do a little bit better is because, just like Robert, we work 7 days a week. Our job is our hobby. Like for me, when I go to bed, I dream about logs. I mean, everything's about making things happen in a responsible manner 24/7. And I enjoy it. It's not like, oh God, I got to go to work. I mean, it's my hobby. I don't know what else I would do.
Right. They say sawing logs, you really take that to heart, right?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
And just
Now,
like today, we had a truck go almost on its side. One of our loaders broke down. All 3 trucks are waiting there for 3 hours while they're fixing the machine. And I'm ready to kill. So you know what I do? I go to my tree farm tonight and I work hard enough that I get all my aggressions out. And by the time I'm done, I don't have the energy to do something stupid like punch somebody. I take it out on my trees and find the right ones to thin, and I got sawdust all over me, and that's the best way I feel. That's my enjoyment.
I think it's amazing. I think that it's funny growing up we were definitely like a manual labor type house, and every there was never a chance. All my friends knew. It's funny growing up. They were like, if you stayed the night, like they were like, well, you're going to be doing something, digging a hole somewhere, moving rocks around, or doing something crazy. But I think people need to spend more time like putting their effort into the earth. You know what I mean? I think it'll help not only connect you but ground you. You know what I mean? It'll give you and it'll blow off that steam. But the now you're a man of many projects though. Like you stay very busy. Timber Unity is a big deal down in Oregon. and that started based off of. Tell us. Well, would you tell me a little bit about Timber Unity? I really want to know a little bit more about that.
Sure, be happy to do it. So basically, Timber Unity started when House Bill 2020 came about. I mean, if you read the cover page, you go, "Oh my gosh, this is the best thing that ever happened." You know, all the pollution is going to be gone. All these trees will be sold for carbon credit. See you later. Let's do it. But it was 97 pages of open-endedness, and a lot of the state forestry would have been mandatory sold for carbon credits, which in my mind would shut it down for logging. It'd be just like the federal forest. You'd put the roads to bed. Oh, this is great. And 10 years later, it would all burn, just like what happened right now. People's houses burn up. Their livestock burns up. It's not a good idea. We need to keep it a working forest with exercising common sense. You don't need to wipe the whole thing out. You need to keep nice wide buffer strips on the streams. You need to protect watersheds. But all these small rural towns rely on timber to live. Look how many towns have been destroyed in Oregon because the federal forest quit logging. I mean, of course, Detroit's all burnt up now and Idana, but that used to be a thriving community. And basically before the fire, there was still nothing there to speak of industry-wise because they shut the whole thing down. So now we're talking about cap and trade, House Bill 2020. Now let me show you something here. Let me get up for about 30 seconds.
Take it. We'll look at the video of you in the process. In the meantime, this is Mike walking through his property, which is beautiful. It stands up on this bluff, and it's gorgeous. Did you just walk back with a pile of paper, Mike?
So now I'm back. Now here's another way to shut down the state forest. So I just got this today. Here is a draft that is 384 pages of how they're going to make us quit logging again. And you know what I did? Let me grab something again here.
What's funny about them sending that big pile of paper to Mike is that they probably had to cut down a tree to make it. So I don't know how they're going to stop logging. Mike, I was just saying, I don't know how they're going to stop you logging if they send you a whole tree's worth of paper.
That is very true. And
but they haven't heard of email. They don't have a Twitter account. They couldn't have sent you a digital document.
Well, I'm old school, so I had my office gal just print it out. So
took 3 days.
If you can see that, so I took those three.
Let me zoom in on you here real quick, Mike.
Good.
I just see myself. The screen went black.
Okay. There. So I took that 383 pages and put it end to end, each piece of paper, all the way up my driveway.
Oh wow! Yeah, I see that.
120 yards long.
Wow.
Jargon. And I'm going to have to testify on this Monday to try and say, hey, keep the state forest open. But this is so much. I mean, how could anybody digest all this stuff? And then of course, I Googled the guy's number who did this study. And of course, the area code is Santa Cruz, California. I mean, yeah. And we already know how to manage our own forests. And this, I haven't read it yet. I mean, there's again 384 pages, which I'm gonna have to read several times to digest the whole thing. But that's just getting on again with, we know how to manage the forest. We live here.
Yeah.
That guy's area code is from Santa Cruz, California. You don't know what we do.
Right.
You don't know our towns. You don't know it's our livelihood. You know what the Vernonia Loggers team is called? Believe it or not, the Loggers.
I know your professional soccer team down there is the Timbers. So.
That's right, and we want to keep it that way. And we're responsible, good people. We don't want people who can't even pronounce Oregon coming up with all these rules. And we know how to take care of it. We live here. We live here every day. We don't want to ruin it.
Yeah. What's it going to take for them to figure that out? I mean, how long is it going to take for them to? So I'm holding my dog still here because he wants to jump up all the time.
That's all right. I got my dog here too. That's Sally.
I see Sally down there. Just come over here. Look at this. Here's Sally. You see her?
Yep, she's
Come here.
a good girl. She goes everywhere with me.
How's her eye doing?
She'll never see out of her in that eye again. She got it by a big dog, but
Yeah.
she's a good girl. Everybody on every job knows Sally. She knows every single property corner, and she's my best negotiator.
That's awesome.
And yes, I have a white fluffy dog.
I got a black curly haired little dog, so they would probably get along really well.
So
but you were saying,
so
yeah, go ahead.
They just keep hitting us, and we're working people. Do I have time to go through a 384-page document and be 100% educated on it? No, I don't. I'm too busy out there maintaining the forest to make them fire safe, productive, make them carbon eating machines. And then we get this stuff thrown at us with, it's just crazy. And they just keep hitting us and hitting us and hitting us. But so far we're a tough group of guys. And when we deal with this kind of stuff, it'd be easy to go, you guys can just go screw off and but we always treat the other party respectfully because that's what you have to do. And that's also how Timber Uni Hit has gotten a long ways in the process. We do rallies. We don't do riots. We don't burn up buildings. We clean up things. We help people out. If somebody's in need, just like all these fires, we go help them. We don't start the fires. We're very, very giving people. And even though if you watch the news, you go, oh my gosh, America's going down the toilet. I'm guessing there's still 80% of us who are just quiet, and we're very, very good people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's sad to think that they say the silent majority. You hear terms like that tossed around a lot. And I would hope that the majority of us actually, like you said, are the good people, and I wish they wouldn't be so silent, like yourself, Robert, people that are they have great hearts, that are out looking to do good things, that are looking to every day put something positive out there and make a change. Why is that so difficult for people to kind of focus on now,
life is very short. Why make it difficult? Why have all this turmoil? I don't do well with turmoil. I'll do anything humanly possible to try and negotiate something that you don't have issues with people, screaming and yelling. I've had a lot of issues where neighbors come up and they're just madder than a wet hen. And I choose not to have that same attitude and talk things out. And by the time we actually talk in a civil manner, we become friends and everything's all right. A lot of times these people who just start screaming and yelling at me, by the time we're done, we're logging their place too. But it's always good to be level-headed.
Yeah.
Go crazy.
You seem incredibly, that's a bit like composed,
Yeah.
The entire conversation we had, the entire time we were out there, I didn't even really hear you curse really. They say you have a truck, they say swearing like a trucker, but you have a big truck, and you just have a very great way about you, and right now on the screen, as you can see, you were showing me how to throw an axe. Maybe that's what people need to do, is toss an axe and get your hostilities out, right?
That's right.
Let me ask you real fast. While we were up there, we talked about the spotted owl. Have you ever seen a spotted owl?
I have never seen a spotted owl. I have never seen a marbled murrelet, but I have seen Bigfoot.
Which I'm sure is going to show up here at some point in this video, because you walked me over and showed me Bigfoot.
That's right.
So I can vouch for it, guys. Bigfoot's real, and he's living on Mike's farm.
That's right. Yeah.
I think it was right before. There you go. You just hit that target right there.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was looking at some photos earlier of your time with on the show, and it looks like you've gotten taller and trimmer. Like you've finally you've grown into yourself, Mike. It's great to see. Like you grew into your body.
So basically, what happened was back when we first started the filming the show, I had like 50 employees. And all
Wow.
I did is drive around and put out, not literally fires, but put out
Right.
fires. This would be tipped over, that'd be wrong. And by doing all that driving, I ended up weighing 310 pounds. So then
310?
310. Then
Well, you're also like 9 feet tall, though, right?
9 feet tall in the morning and 8 feet when I get home.
He's slouching at the end of the day. It's all right.
Yeah. So basically, then 2008 hit. Everything went sideways. I took half my stuff to the auction. We got down to a crew of about 25 people. And I actually had to go back to work myself, which was great. And I got myself down to about 265 pounds, and I've been at that level ever since. So I get to go out and work every single day, where before I'd put on like 60,000 miles a year in my pickup, trying to find jobs or just dealing with every issue known to mankind. So right now, I'm exactly where I want to be. Basically 25 guys, 265 pounds. I sweat every single day, and I like it. It's perfect.
That feels good, doesn't it? A lot of people, I mean, it's weird to think this, but there's a lot of people out in the world right now that barely ever break a sweat, and not not for maybe lack of opportunity or lack of want, but there's not really that, they don't go to the gym normally, which I get, especially now with COVID, because you can't basically get out of your house. But
Yep.
it says something when you break that sweat. I remember one of the crappiest jobs I had. I was doing asphalt sealing. I just moved back to the state from Wyoming, and it was terrible. Like it was like 100 degrees that summer, and I had to get down on the asphalt and like scrape gum off of the asphalt just to get it 100% clean, so that we could reseal it. And it was miserable, and I was covered in tar at the end of the day. And we'd work from sun up until sundown, so we were working like 15, 16-hour days. I'm telling this to a logger, which is ridiculous because it's one of the most dangerous jobs on the planet. But but for me, it was it was definitely it was super cool because I felt like I earned every day. Like I went out and earned the earned my wages every day, so it felt good. And I was beat to death, but
Well, another good thing is, when you get out there and do the hustle and you're sweating, your body's like a great big filter. So all that blood's just flying through, going through your kidneys and your liver and your spleen and whatever the heck. I mean, you think about this COVID-19 stuff. I'm sitting out there. I want to make my body work. I want my body to get itself cleansed out. I don't want that COVID-19. So just hustle, make everything get filtered out, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fixing some technologies while we're talking here, but so you've been logging for how long now? Like how long have you've been doing this for?
So I've had my own business since 1982. I bought my first yarder, paid cash for it. So I've been logging for myself for 38 years, but I started 5 years before that. So when I was 17, so basically 43 years. And still love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have a twin brother that's about 10 years older than you, right?
That's right. He turned 60. I didn't.
It's a good thing one of you had to, because someone was born first. I know that's how that works, right? Like there's the older of the two.
Yeah, and he's a hard worker too. Basically, he dresses pretty much the same as I do, except for he wears a hickory shirt with a zipper. I wear buttons, and he keeps his sleeves on. So.
Come on, catch up, would you? Yep. Sleeves are so outdated.
Yep. And he wears a belt instead of suspenders. Do you remember my suspender joke? I told you.
Yeah, right. So you know who you are and you know what you're supposed to be doing?
Well, why do loggers wear red suspenders?
Why is that?
To hold their pants up.
Come on, Mike.
Yeah.
Come on, Mike. You just left the door open for Tiffany, who's going to ask a joke. I'm sure it's going to show up if she's watching right now.
Yep.
Who do you call when you lose your big toe? That's going to show up. I guarantee it. So big shout out, Tiff. But that's what do you call a cow with no legs, Mike?
Cow? Throw it at me.
Ground beef.
Ah,
boom.
Good job. That's a good kid joke. I can remember that one.
That just happened. Yeah, we could throw on these dad jokes all day, you know. Though I'm not a dad. Hopefully, if I get enough dad jokes, I'll be able to get some kids eventually out of this too. So what's on the agenda for you? Like, what's going on? I know you guys have a lot going on with relief work, and you guys are pushing in the right direction with Timber Unity. What else? What's happening? Like,
So Timber Unity, we basically gave almost all the hay away last Saturday. We had one more semi load. It's getting picked up on Saturday, and it's going to a farm in Malala. And then I've never been politically active in my life, but with all this stuff going on, I really didn't have any choice. So Timber Unity is very involved with the elections. We support the candidates with our same beliefs. So we spend a lot of our time doing that, and we get, their field signs up, and we interview them to make sure that they think. Everybody's not going to think the same way, but think with our views of managing the forest. We like to keep the air clean. A lot of our machines are going to tier 4. So we
what
talk
does that
to
mean?
people.
Tier 4.
Tier 4 is like the exhaust that comes out of your machine, like a log truck. So back in the old days, somebody'd floor it and see this big old cloud of black smoke, and everybody thought, "Hey, this is cool. Look at that tractor." Everybody honked their horn. Now that's not cool. We don't like black smoke. We don't like to see it. Yeah. So our new trucks, even if you floor it, you can't even see the exhaust come out. It is so clean.
Right.
So even some of our new log loaders and skidders are that way too. So eventually all the old machines kind of just fade out because they get worn out and they go to the scrapyard. So when we buy new machines, they're emissions compliant. So we're already taking care of that kind of stuff, which is
Uh-oh. Kind of froze up on me there, Mike. You're coming back slowly.
Yep, we're back.
There you are. You're back.
All right.
I thought you were just taking a breather there for a second. Go ahead.
Taking a nap?
Yeah, just back.
Yeah, so politically involved with this, helping people out. And we pay attention to a lot of things. I just got this today, and it's already a giant mess. But I really need to digest this. And my first thought is, oh my God, this is negative, which more than likely it is. But I will read it. I'll digest it. I will take notes, and then I'm going to supply testimony from an industry person on it on Monday.
There you go. I know a guy that'll physically eat all of that paper for $20. Literally, he'll eat it all.
Monday, they eat it.
Boom.
That's right.
I'll put that out there. How do you have any time right now, Mike? Like, I would imagine that with all of so massive wildfires, and you're sitting down, like you're a little bit higher up in the elevation though. So have they not called you in to do, I don't know, what would be some of the preventative measures like right now that someone with your expertise and like your company would be? Do you get called to do things like to chop down trees that are in the fire line, or is that even something that, how do you get involved? Are you involved in the firefighting right now?
So when all these fires started, I'm always, right on, let's go. So I called basically our local districts of state forestry. Well, they don't really need you down there now, or we can't really, send you there. And I'm going, I'm ready to go right now. And a lot of my logger buddies are too. So then I call to Salem, to their base command, and they said, well, we can't really use you right now. Why don't you call your district offices? I already called them. So I made so many phone calls. I unfortunately just kind of gave up. If somebody would have said, Mike, we need you, I would be there in a heartbeat. I'd drop everything. Let's go, guys. But, they kept saying that they were short on people. I was ready to fly. And I made all the contacts trying to make that happen. And it just didn't. And I guess to an extent, I'm understanding we've never had a fire like that. And I imagine it was absolute mass chaos, but that's what they're trained to do too.
Yeah.
Reach out. I'm on the state forestry's list, send me out there. We're going. Some of our cutters went out there later on, but all my machinery was available, all my water trucks, we never left. But I guess I take everything with a grain of salt.
How do you feel that you could have been better used for like a logging company like you have?
If somebody in command would have said, Mike, we will take you, meet us here in Malala, we'll show you what we need to do, go. And I know what to do. I mean, I've been doing it forever. I've been on, I don't know, probably 50 different fires. I mean, let them give me a little bit of guidance, and I got it from there,
Yeah.
And we live in the woods.
What would you have liked to have done? Like, I mean, with like the fires around there, like, how would you have liked to have been able to better utilize your skills?
So I would have headed that direction with about 10 guys, probably would have taken, 3 fire trucks. I've got tankers, I've got fire trailers, I've got, like my best fire truck is an all-wheel drive Dodge fire truck with a 1,000-gallon tank. It'll climb any mountain. It'll go anywhere. And then I would have taken my cats there. And we've got mini hose, which you kind of look at them and you go, why would you want that tuna can out there? They are amazing how much work they get done in their cycle time and doing fire trails. I would have taken, 4 or 5 pieces of equipment out there and let's get her done, guys.
And now, would you have cut fire lines and thinned out the trees in the direction of the fires were heading, or?
I would have sized up the situation. We had a giant east wind. It would have been really easy to get yourself burned up. And then you had spot fires too. So I just would have analyzed the situation and gone from there because every scenario is different.
Right. Because I mean, I'm looking at this picture behind us that you can kind of see back there, the background, and that's an actual picture taken from the fires there in Oregon. And I had to do research before I went down there, about the kind of like the high desert style fires, brush fires, and then timber fires. And it blows my mind. Like when I made it down to Paisley, and I'd never seen a fire like that in my life, other than structure fires that I sadly that I experienced out in Kenosha. But when a tree lit up, it would be a brush fire, and then a tree would ignite, and it'd be like 100-foot flame. It would just like a spire, and the tree line would just burn immediately. And they weren't even the biggest trees, but they were, I'm not even sure what kind of trees. Maybe they were maple trees or, oak trees. I don't know. But,
they create their own wind. You get these wind tornadoes going, and it's unbelievable what happens.
It got cold down there, which was wild. At the base of that hill, you feel like a cold breeze almost. Well, I don't know if it was because the heat was getting sucked up, but it was interesting.
I've never seen a fire like this in my lifetime. And, when it was coming down the canyon, there probably was nothing you could do except for get yourself burned up. So you had to stand back and just let it do its thing until the winds slowed down, because I mean, if that wind's blowing 70 miles an hour, you don't want to go driving into it and get yourself burned up. But I wasn't there. I would have been there in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Wow. It is. I mean, if you guys haven't seen, you can go over and check out the YouTube video of that night that I was down in Paisley. And you can look it up a lot of places, but of course I encourage you to come to my YouTube channel. But that was which is amazing for me to hear. You've been in 50 different fires, and what you're seeing now is, even this is
unheard
shocking.
Of.
Yeah.
Unheard of. Normally we get a fire, if we have one around where I live, Vernonia, past history would be, it would start in an old clear cut, like a 2 or 3 year old clear cut. It'd just rage. Then as soon as it got into standing timber, it would go in about 50 feet, and there's enough moisture content in most of those trees. The fire would eventually slow down and go out. It just burned the clear cut area. So we have never seen in my lifetime the mass fires like they've had up all these drainages. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's wild. That is wild.
It is.
Now, some of the things that I saw was that the projected containment date for like the Beachy Creek fire was October 31st.
Yeah.
And that was like 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
and they had the percentage of containment at that time was like 3%, which, I mean, that just blows my mind to think that the projected containment was almost 2 months out, and that's
We're
and that's
super,
even that's ambiguous, you know.
yeah, and we're super lucky. We had some pretty heavy rains, but right now the weather's warming up again. I think today was, I don't know, 80, 85. But hopefully the fires are contained. You know, they'll keep burning inside, I would assume, but hopefully they won't spread. But that's where state forestry is paying close attention, or should be, and the worst of it should be over. And it's getting late enough in the season; we should be all right. But
Right,
let's hope for the best and pay very close attention.
man. Yeah. The are you feeling like things are slowing down? I mean, does are you seeing a difference?
You know, they were raging wildfires. I mean, you couldn't hardly get them out. In my own mind, it looks like things have slowed down. They got lots of moisture. They've pretty much burnt their masses out, and now they're just burning within. In my own personal opinion, it may be different, but it appears to be that way.
Yeah, yeah, man, it
And
really
then
is
I
shocking.
and then I've been talking to a lot of the mills because eventually they're going to have to log at least the private timber. The federal forest, it'll sit there and rot and burn again, unfortunately, where they should log it. But I've been talking to a lot of the mills about the private timber. If it's been lightly burned, the mills will take it. But basically, if it burns into the sap and into the wood, and if the stem's not too big, they're not going to be able to utilize it. But if it was more or less like a flash fire that went through it, the mills will take it. If it's burnt any more than that, you cannot use it for pulp because they can't use charcoal, so you can't grind it up and make toilet paper. So there is going to be a lot of product that they won't be able to be merchantable.
Yeah.
But everybody will get everything they can off their private ground because that's the way people work. And then, state forestry, federal government, that's a whole different story. If that was privately held, you'd be going, all right, guys, let's get in there right away, get as much useful wood out of there as we can, and also protecting the streams, and let's get it rolling. But instead, let's do this study, let's do that study, let's check this out, let's check that out. And by that time, it'll all be rotten, and then it'll burn again, and then it'll burn again.
So that's the next question I was going to ask you. Actually, was with these federal forests that we've talked about, and the federal and state forests that you said, with them not allowing you to come in and work to thin those forests. A couple things you mentioned, which really kind of were eye openers for me. When they stopped a lot of the forestry services because of some of these, like the spotted owl or some of these other animals, and so people can understand, because this is how it worked out in my mind, and I think as you explained it, it clicked. They weren't allowed to go in and thin these forests because of these protected animals. Now, these protected animals then had it in a situation where the forest became unhealthily thick and unsafe, and then a fire breaks out like this, and it rages through and burns that entire forest out. So now not only are any of the animals, protected or otherwise, that were in that forest are gone and dead now, but the forest itself is also demolished. So it would seem that responsible forestry would be the way to go about helping maintain these federal and state forestry lands, that it, like what you said, like, which is all within the plans that you have, not just mentally, but you've actually met with members of the cabinet, haven't you, to kind of talk about this program?
I have. Yeah, and you think about that, all those million acres that burn up. Of course, again, I've never seen a spotted owl. Think how many spotted owls got fried. They're dead. They're gone. They're an endangered species. And all the carbon that got put up in the air. So, I'm lucky I live in Northwest Oregon. Bald eagles are protected. So if we identify a bald eagle nest, we get a hold of state forestry, and then you have a protected area around that nest during mating season. So that area is protected. Once they have their babies, you can get a little bit closer then, and you don't log right up next to the tree. I don't remember exactly
You're froze on me right now, Mike. You don't remember the exact. I'm going to pick you back up when you come back in, though, and I know you will here in a second. But while we're waiting for you to jump back in, somebody said something right. Andrew, you just said it's not just the birds and it's the salmon. They can't fly away from a silted up stream. That's a creek. That makes a lot of sense. And that's something that we need to think about as well. That because I was just thinking that the spotted owls can fly away, and yeah, but a fish can't swim away from a fire. Well, maybe it can. That'd have to be a fast moving fish. I'll give it that. So I'm waiting for. If you can hear me, Mike, you're still froze. So yeah, we're just gonna go here. But so yeah, the logging industry as it is right now, guys, it was very interesting for me. Looks like Mike fell out for right now. We'll try to bring him back in. Maybe Shama can go ahead and reach out to him and see if we can't add him back in here. So, either way, yeah, Mike, man, incredibly knowledgeable guy. But one of the things that he oh, geez, come on. Sorry, my dog just tried to jump up here and fell. Come on, jump up one more time. You can do it. Don't be embarrassed. All right, come on, jump up, jump up, jump up. There, he made it. He made it. Look at this guy. You got a new little. Okay, come here. Want to get him? Here you go. Come over here. Get him. There he goes. Get him. It's up here. He's up here. There he is. That's the dog you were asking about. There's your toy. I tried to get him groomed yesterday. It didn't work out for me because he apparently his rabies shot just went, just expired. So anyway, but his logging practices were pretty interesting because I didn't realize that there was such a line between the privately held forest and the federal and state forestry land. And so that being said, it was really interesting to know that they could have actually done a lot of work through California, Oregon, and even up in Washington to thin a lot of the forest land that burned. So yeah, Mike lost his connection, guys. So I promise, if we don't get him back on tonight, that I will get him back on. Or what I've been excited to do is go spend a day in the life of a logger. So look forward to that segment, which is going to be, I'm going to ride with Mike. So Mike, you're watching right now. I'm sure you're watching. We talked about it, and I'm dead serious. I'm going to come down and jump in the truck with you, and I need you to show me how to do things. Mike, of course, Mike lost his internet. It's because his secretary left. So Tiffany, I had to groom my own dog. You're right. I did the same thing. And that's why he looks so ridiculous right now, because he wouldn't let me do it. So I was able to shave his back and his sides, and that's as far as I got. So his head and his paws are just stupid long right now. It's ridiculous. So I need to get the so I'm going to go ahead and add in, and we're going to play a little bit more here with we're going to bring on some more folks that we were with down in Salem. So bear with me for a moment, guys, while we jump into this. Just a moment here. So, where are we at here? Talk amongst yourselves for a minute here. So we're this is I don't know if you guys can see what's going on here, but boom. We'll do this real fast. This was me down in Oregon chasing goats in Salem. This is the night that I got down there. So, which was ridiculous because I thoroughly got beat up. These goats, I chased them around for like an hour, and we finally got them, most of them, into a truck. And it's a little spotty on the video, but we showed up. Actually, this is really interesting. We showed up at this farm, and I can't remember the woman's name. It was a couple different people who lived there. Some of them already evacuated their homes, and so I don't even know whose house they were. But we had to at one point. Yeah, those are fast little bastards. I'm gonna tell you right now. I went through and I had to knock on doors, and we were kind of going from door to door in the houses and checking to make sure there was no one left in the house or no other animals are left in the house. because the fire at one point was like a quarter mile away. Not even a quarter mile. That's how it started, but it kept moving closer. And at one point, we were trying to herd these 9 cattle into these trucks, and they just, if you guys remember, that little cow kicked the hell out of me. Like my leg is still, I still am black and blue from that little cow. It roughed me up, but yeah, we were down there with that's Trey right there, Trey Stewart. They were down there. Jared was down there that night as well. Adam Costello was down there. And then later on, a lot of the streamers actually from Portland, they jumped in and did work up further north towards Portland, up in can't remember the name of the little town they were in, just south of Portland. But they were up there doing work. And I'm talking to everyone. They had Baloo, Arx, everyone was up there, jumped in. Eric Greatwood got in there. I think Ian was up there. So there's, people were all coming together and really doing their best to kind of, do relief effort, which I thought was awesome. But I need to go ahead and send out a invite here real fast to my next guest here. And there we go. Boom. And one second, guys. But yeah, these goats were crazy. And then those cows, man. I remember Zach, he was down there and he was like roping little cows, and they were ferocious. Those cows were no joke. They kicked the shit out of me. Part of my language, but they were not playing around. I was trying to block the fence here at this point because I don't want the goats to go back under the fence line, which actually worked out, like almost like as if I, the cats, chickens. Actually, it's funny, Catherine. The chickens came up, and we were able to get the chickens through the network. The funniest thing I've seen, and I wish I had a picture of it, but. So who I'm going to bring on next year, Elise, she was joking around when we were like, hey, there are these chickens we need to save. And somebody's like, oh, get the duct tape and newspaper. And I was like, well, you guys going to build a paper mache kennel for these chickens? And it turned out that, I wish we had the volume for this thing here. The can run 50 miles per hour, can maintain a speed of 10. Oh, here we go. Somebody decided to join the party. All right. I'm going to throw her in real fast. But there she is.
Technical difficulty.
That's something I'm all too familiar with. I can hear you, yeah. You're kind of doing the robot a little bit, but little choppy. I can hear you just fine. You just you're a little choppy on your motion there.
It might be the stream that I'm using.
Okay. Well, however you're doing it, it's working. There you are. Let me I'm gonna put a pause on the on this one right here. Boop boop boop. So we'll do this. Pause that one, and let's get you back on here. So what's been going on? How you doing, Elise?
Not much, just living the life, living the dream, really. Kids are back in social distant learning, and I'm ready to pull my hair out. It's only been 2 weeks.
Tell me about the socially distanced learning. Man, I need to go back to school apparently.
You got a hold of that one, didn't you?
Right, it really sunk my teeth into it. Yeah. Shut up.
As far as social distant learning is going, basically it's a between 4 and 7 hour curriculum, all done on Zoom video chats, which I was trying to get entered in by the host earlier, which didn't seem to work out as well. I am on my cell phone, so that can be part of an issue. But basically, these kids sit in a classroom with split screens with their classmates and a teacher, and let's just say that we should be getting a tax refund on how much time we spend with our children.
Or just enjoy that you get to spend time with your kids.
I mean, yes, there's good and bad to the situation. I mean, really, if your calling was to be a teacher, then you're in there like swimwear. Good job, go for you, major props. But if you're like many of my friends that are a single mom trying to make ends meet and still provide, it's hard to be in two places at once, and it can be a struggle.
Right.
I'm not saying that it's not going successfully. It's just these kids weren't fully prepared for this kind of learning setup, and the teachers themselves are still learning how to do this. So it's a lot of telephone. Today, my kids got let out of school early because the whole server shut down at the school.
So you had to deal with them longer today than you were expecting? Not
No,
cool.
I actually got shorter time with them than expecting, which is great. The teachers at the elementary school, well, the school is all one building. So it has high school, elementary, and middle schoolers all in one building. They're just sectioned out in hallways.
Sounds like chaos.
It is. And the server went down, the internet server. So we've got 12 kids in a classroom that have been waiting for a teacher to come on board for 20 minutes, and it is fart jokes, people complaining that they're hungry, they don't know where the teacher's at, and my son was actually the one that did the investigating to figure out why we were in school. And long story short, the kids got cut off at noon, so they got a free day.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to show this picture of you right here, but I'm having technical difficulties myself.
Oh boy.
Let's see if we can't figure this out here. So tell me what's been going on. I mean, kids aside, not that I want to jump off subject here, but
oh no.
We'll talk about other kinds of cattle. What's going on with Vernonia Cavalry? Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing, who you are, and what's been going on.
We are a group of girls that have a love for animals, horses in general, that heard about these wildfires happening and wanted to reach out to our extended counties. So we live in Columbia County, Vernonia. We're about 45 minutes from Astoria. I'm sure most of your viewers already know all about Vernonia. We live closer to Mist. That's my son and me coming back from a donation of pig bread he was driving. God help me.
Pig bread? Did you just say pig bread?
Yes, pig bread.
Is that a type of bread, or is that bread for pigs?
So Fran's Bakery, I uploaded the video for this on our page. We did the whole live stream and it kind of explained how it goes. But this is my brand new 2020 Honda Pilot, completely stuffed with bread donations from Fran's Bakery.
That's awesome.
So if you're a farmer, if you're a pig farmer, you kind of have the inlet in the pig food world.
Wait,
and
Fran's Bakery makes bread just for pigs?
No, Fran's Bakery, what they do is they have to dispose of shelf expired bread. Doesn't necessarily it's bad. It's just not FDA approved to sell to human consumption. But pigs love it, and it is so easy to feed them with it, and it keeps them happy. So we had 3 hogs on the farm from we used as our sanctuary for the pigs, and we were getting donations in for grain, but to keep them more happy and fatter, we get bread. And I used to be a pig farmer for about 10 years.
Can't trust a pig farmer.
So we got all this bread, and we started making a mash with it, and you get everything from McDonald's hamburger buns to hoagie rolls to Costco bread to Dave's famous bread, and you just make a mash with it, and they love it. Keeps them fat and sassy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. Now you guys were bringing. I mean, this is a picture of one of the trailers you had. And I know when I met up with you guys, there was you had 3 or 4 trailers running, handful of trucks.
There was 3 of us girls running 3 trucks, pretty much 24 hours a day. Myself, my twin sister Elaine, and our kind of adopted daughter. So we have a group of misfit teenagers.
That's why you guys look alike. Okay.
Yeah. So Jessica Reese is her name, and she was doing all the background work for us. She was getting in contact with owners, people that needed help. She was doing all the networking from home site when she could. And then we were running trailers. My dad even came out and helped for a couple of days and got on board with that.
I met your pops.
Yes.
A real ladies man, your dad. He's a real lady killer.
Can you believe that when my mom met him, he had jet black hair?
I get it. I also have jet black hair in another life.
Yeah, but his nickname around town now is Goldilocks. We all have our own farm nicknames, so
That's because
everybody
that
gets
dirty
one.
dog goes from bed to bed. Wink.
He's happily married to my mom. I will tell you that.
Oh,
We've
that's
been
right.
together
I meant your mom. That's right.
45 years.
Whoa,
So.
hey, you know who else is anniversary this year is 45? Robert from the Stony Brook Equestrian Stable.
Oh yeah, I seen him on your guys' segment. What a
Yeah.
sweet old man.
Such an awesome dude. He and his wife just celebrated their 45th anniversary too.
It's a blessing. I
It
celebrated my 10-year wedding anniversary this year.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it can be. It's a struggle.
I bet. Everyone seems to be getting hitched except for me. I got to figure it out.
Yeah, you got to figure out where the missing link is there, pal.
I've been searching. I just got some incredible advice. You are right, dear, was what Robert told me earlier. And if I just say that all the time, then I'll probably be able to stay the course and do okay, do all right. Hey, what's going on in this picture right here? I want to know what's happening right here. No, this next one, right here. What's that all about?
Okay, so that's my 13-year-old nephew who is built like a poop brick house because I know we have to keep it.
That kid is 13.
He's 13 and he can bench press 2 of me.
He's
that's my twin sister. Yeah, that's my twin sister's middle boy. And we are making a pig palace. I don't know if you heard about it, but Mr. Hammy, the pig that rode in the back of the Jeep, he became a part of the Vernonia Cavalry forever. His current owner had to have back surgery during this whole evacuation and could no longer take care of him, so she offered him up to us, and we obviously were happy to make him part of the family. So this is a dog house, and I turned part of my horse stalls into a pig palace for him, and he actually sleeps in that every night.
That is awesome. I know that we've got. Hold on, let me jump over to it here. We have a picture of Mr. Hammy, right? Is that Mr. Hammy right there?
Right there. Yep. So long story short, we pick up this guy first right in the middle of town in Malala. We get an APB out. There is 2 pigs, 6 rams, and 1 alpaca that need to be evacuated immediately. So it was only 9 minutes from our location. So we jumped ship and got to the property. We could actually see falling hot embers into the pasture while we were rescuing the other herd. Well, he was soaked up in my tack room in my horse trailer. And we got the other 2 pigs wrangled. We got the sheep, the rams wrangled. We were waiting for the cavalry to come in and get a lasso on the llama, excuse me. And we were just getting ready to shove one of the hogs in there. And this spoiled little brat's like, I'm an only child. I don't think so. His mom dresses him funny. And bails out of the trailer right through me and my son, my oldest son, the one that was driving the car.
Right.
And now we've got a rescuer loose on property we're trying to evacuate. Thank God Mr. Hammy is a good boy and let us catch him. And we didn't have room for him in the trailer, so we ended up throwing in our buddy's Jeep.
Which is where he's at right there in the picture?
That's correct. Yep. He was the full length of the back of the Jeep, and he wasn't quite happy with the suspension, so I guess he was honking at my buddy Cody the whole time, but they had a great conversation, I guess.
I like how even in the picture it looks like the Jeep's like tilting that direction, you know?
Yeah, he was a big boy. He definitely made it squat.
Man, so what? Look, now here I'm gonna jump in. There's another picture here that I have, and sorry guys, I'm not more graceful with like going from picture to picture, but you guys, I love this picture of this llama. Or is that's a llama or an alpaca?
That's the llama that we had to lasso at the property. That was literally the fire was all around us. We could see flames.
Wow.
The smoke came in really heavy. And this is Ollie. He did not want to be catched at all. Like, getting caught was not an option for him, so we ended up having to lasso him. And this is at the sanctuary here. And he was just, after the dust settled and him and his ram buddies started settling in and breathing fresher air, he was just happy as a clam, always smiling, moving that lip. My daughter took this picture. But yeah, sweet character. His nose looks like a heart. He was a sweet llama.
Is that do I look like the llama?
Yeah. It's a great impression. I'm proud of you.
That's going to be screenshotted. I guarantee it. That'll be all over the place by tomorrow. That's awesome. So, hey, tell me about what are some of the more different kinds of animals you guys had to evacuate?
So we ran into all kinds of things. The hardest group that we actually had to evacuate wasn't even one that needed evacuating out of the fire zone. It was actually a pack of, we had 3 llamas and 2 more goats, which means they were still intact, and 6 female goats. And they had been taken by another hauler, and the situation turned pretty hairy, and he had to actually evacuate the animals to his own property in Klama. And he just realized that he was too far in over his head, and one of the llamas, the gelding, he was extremely in poor health. And the smoke and Klama from the cougar fire started coming in, so this guy was getting double whammy. So we ended up actually having to go to the property. I didn't share this video, but maybe I will to you later, and you can post it if you'd like.
Sure.
So we get there, and the guy doesn't even tell us that his driveway is like 90 degrees up and loose gravel and rocky. So it was like going up a hill. And I get up there, and I'm almost to the top, and my truck doesn't want to go any farther with my trailer, so I have to pop it into 4-wheel drive. I get up there. I look down the road. My sister, she had borrowed one of the Misfit children's truck because her truck was indisposed at the moment, and it had died in the middle of the road. And it was blocking the trailer was blocking the whole road. So we get down there, and I'm jimmy rigging around on the battery cables, finally get the truck started. This guy comes down the road. He happens to be a neighbor, and all of our kids were pushing, Laney had to get towed by the owner in his Ford, so a Ford-on-Ford contact here, with a huge trailer. And all of us kids were pushing up on the back of the trailer to get it up the hill. And this gentleman, who was the neighbor, jumped out, got out there, helped us out. I video recorded him and basically said, hey, sometimes the rescuers need rescuing. That was probably the most exciting moment, other than driving right in the middle of the fire. I sent you some photos of that as well, the red photos that you did get earlier. Those are photos of us actually in the flames. We passed barricades.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, we passed. Cops were letting us through the closed road and the barricades. That's where we entered in to go into the fire. And then the next, like, really deep red picture, we were actually, like, flame on. There wasn't really any time. We did do a live video, and we're like, oh, God, please help us, because it was pretty scary.
Yeah.
My kids just got home from feeding Mr. Hammy, one of the rescuers.
There they are.
Yeah.
The cretins.
Yes. The children of the corn. So we ended up driving through there to rescue just one horse. That was, I mean, honestly, none of the animals that we rescued were actually exotic, but they all had their own name. They were all special in their own way, and each and every one of them were loved so much by their owner that it was important for us. You know, our goal and our motto in the group was, you're not alone. There were certain rescue outfits that wouldn't go in to get one single animals. We were driving behind barricades just get one animal. And we, at the end of the day, really, it was just another day in my life. Yeah, like my husband just said, just another day in paradise.
Another day in paradise. Hey, what's the so I was talking about these chickens earlier, and you probably were just coming into the feed, and somebody was like, oh, hey, there was all these chickens that we were trying to save, like a dozen of them, and we were at the
chicken
fairground.
Burritos.
So you said, you were like, oh, let's get some duct tape and newspaper, and I was like, I mean, like, I was joking around. I'm like, are they gonna make like a paper mache enclosure? and then someone sent me a picture of the chickens. Tell me how you do it. What do you do with chickens? Like, how do you pack a chicken?
So basically, what you do with it, okay, so chickens can be hypnotized. And so you basically grab the chicken by the neck, you lay it flat down, you draw a line in front of them, and as they're hypnotized from the line, you wrap them up in the newspaper like a burrito. And then you
That's a
duct
real
tape them
thing.
down. Yes, that's a real thing.
Come on.
I'm not BSing you. I wouldn't poop my favorite turd, sir.
So that was. Thank you for that.
Yeah. I'm
but
trying to keep
okay.
it G-rated, all right?
I can't argue. Actually, I can't even joke around. So I legitimately got a picture sent, and there's this rows of chickens, like head to toe. You know what I mean? But they were burritos.
Yeah.
They were wrapped in paper and then taped around the paper, and they were just in there, just hanging out.
Yep,
You know, happy as
that's
can be.
100% correct, because once you draw the line, the chickens aren't smart enough to pull away from that. And in order to dehypnotize the chicken, you have to squiggle out the line, and then they come through. Just like turkey.
I need to fact check that one because I saw a video just
So,
recently online,
you know
and
what?
I didn't think it was real.
Okay, tell you what. My girlfriend's got chickens here in town. Tomorrow I'll go out, and I'll have her live record me hypnotizing these chickens, and I'll make sure to tag you in it.
I will. Okay, someone just. Okay, well, there you go. Chicken can be hypnotized, put in a trance, the head down to the ground, the drawing a line on the ground. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, well played. Okay, so we just got fact checked on that one. Okay. Now the video. I need to see this in person. I need to hypnotize a chicken.
Okay, well, it's very easy. Basically, all you do is you take your hand and you hold the feathers down and you place them belly down onto the ground. You put
Yep.
your finger down on their neck so their neck stays to the ground. So basically,
Yep.
you're holding the chicken. Wait, hold on. Let me get my hand in there because this is reversed. Okay, there we go. You're basically holding the chicken just like this. So its head's up here. You take the other finger and you draw a line right in front of it from their beak as far out as you want to go. And they follow that line for so long that it actually puts them in a trance.
So how long does this line have to be? Like,
And 2 to 3 inches, just long enough to travel out. You know, you're distancing yourself from their nose, and then you just stop. Yep, that's it. Kind of like Pinocchio.
well, sorry. Immediately, that just put me into a trance too. That was actually remarkably soothing. I think everybody should do that right now. Just finger on the nose. I'm wondering how many people are going to do this, and look at it, and then just follow it away.
I mean,
That is tough to stay awake.
It's crazy. I didn't believe to be true. My dad was the one that showed me Goldilocks, and for our
Goldilocks.
pastime, I have to admit, we used to hypnotize the chickens all the time until he caught us.
So the two things I need to see are one, a chicken being hypnotized, and two, a fainting goat.
Oh
Did
my
you see-
God, they're so fun to play with.
So by that you mean like terrorize, right? I mean, let's just be real about
No,
it.
it's okay. So there's a difference between. So the reason why fainting goats actually faint is because they're so scared that their natural action is to play dead. Like that's their survival mechanism.
That's a
Most
smart move
animals
because it makes it
won't eat
easier for the
something
animal
that's-
to eat them. So
Yeah, and most animals won't eat something that's already like in rigor mortis. So like bears are scavengers, but if it's rotting flesh, they won't eat it. Well, or like coyotes and things of that nature, they will. So
that's the opposite
I'm
of my
not quite
technique.
sure.
I just go limp. I go loosey goosey.
I think
Go
that's
boneless.
narcolepsy.
But you just got to go boneless. No one wants to attack you if you're boneless. Just it's the
Well,
move.
my husband says that nobody will fight you if you strip down naked. So I don't know.
I'm really having to think about that one because I've been in a handful of naked brawls
I mean,
before.
would you
So I'm
want to
just saying.
fight a naked man?
I think it would be easier to fight a naked man. I'm going to tell you right now. It just makes your target that much more present. Like, because I'm not above kicking someone in the junk. All right. If it's going to end the day and send me home to a bagel and cream cheese before I have to worry about getting punched in the
Oh
face,
my God.
I will
Oh my
kick a man
God.
in his hang
Don't
down.
tell
I
me
don't
you-
mind it.
Don't tell me you're one of those cream cheese and chive bagel guys, are you?
I'll eat whatever. Look at the face. Look at this face. I'll shove whatever in there. I'll be okay. So
Oh my
fainting
God.
goats, you can hypnotize chickens. So I'm not kidding, guys. There were these chickens wrapped up like little burritos in the back of a truck, and they were just laying in the seat. And everyone's like, "Oh, the chickens are good. We got them. We got them."
100%. It's not that. I mean, if you know your way around a farm and you've been exposed to enough farm work, there ain't nothing you can handle. Obviously, the first night you met me,
Yep.
you guys were all out there like some Star Wars geek Comic-Con out there with your flashlights, like you all were fighting each other, hooting and hollering. I'm like, what in the tarnation in the hell's going on out here? I said, these guys don't know what they're doing.
That is not what I was doing. No, I was wrangling.
No.
I was a wrangler that night. I had my Ranger Rick outfit on. My shirt was tucked in. I was very official.
Yeah, I will admit you were very official, but
right? I had a
say,
flashlight on my hip. I looked the part. I mean, I may not have been able to act the part, but
I mean, yeah, you were pretty official there. I'm not gonna
heads
lie.
up. Thanks for not warning me about the ferocious nature of little calves, because those little bastards they're dangerous little hell spawns. Like that little calf. Okay, so what I'm looking at right here, this is not a little calf, but I mean, basically, guys, this is the equivalent of what beat me up on that farm. This is basically
whatever.
This
Those are
animal.
3-day-old goats.
An animal basically this same size jumped up and like it demolished me in the back of that the trailer. It was just that goat was or the cow was like bucking me.
That was probably about a 400-pound calf.
All right, I just wanted you to talk me up. Actually, you're right. It was probably more like 800 pounds, I think. I mean, and I had to hand wrestle it and pick it up and carry it in there myself. That's what I did.
I mean, probably on like weight to impact ratio there, yeah, it was probably about 800 pounds. You know, the velocity of gravity on impact.
Well, way to be, Bill Nye. Yeah, so basically I'm a superhero, guys. I mean, that's what she's getting at. Yes. And this cute little devil didn't do that. That's a 3-day-old goat?
Yeah, there's 2 of them there, and that's my daughter's lap. And if you see that little brown spot right there on her thigh, it's shit on her.
Thanks for pointing that out. So, hey, guys, look at the cute little goat and then the poo.
She was so traumatized.
Is she there right now?
Like, it pooped on me.
Is she there right now? Are you looking at her right now?
Yes, I am.
Tell her to come over here real quick. How do you feel about goats now?
Oh, I still love them, but I got shit on.
You know, saving goats, a shitty job. It's a shitty job, but someone's got to do it, right?
They were cute. They were like all cuddly with me, so I wasn't objecting. I was like, it's okay. It's a scary time. I don't blame you. You don't know me.
You don't know me.
But
we're on a level now.
So you're like, oh my god. Like, if I have a baby, I'd be like, who is this? So yeah.
Is that what the goat was saying in his mind?
Who is this? That's what I would do if I was to go. So if I was in that situation.
That's ridiculous. What'd you guys do with these little goats? What happened to them?
Here, I'll hand you off to her so I can have a cigarette.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Present.
Okay. So tell me, what did you do with these little goats? This is
my adopted daughter.
Yes.
Hello. I'm CJ.
So yes. So those were our friends Bob and Kaya's families. Yeah, they're family members. Goats. They went to what was the place called? In Canby or no?
Clackamas County.
Yeah, Clackamas. Sorry, I swear I don't have corona.
You're on the other side of a screen from me. I'm good.
Yeah, they went to Clackamas County Fairgrounds for a while, but then eventually they were able to go back to their home. So that was really nice, you know. And then we went down there and helped transport them back to their home too. It was nice.
Super cool.
Or at least get them loaded up, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then we went out and were on standby for the night to help others with. I'm like trying to remember. There were so many nights we were out there.
I know.
Like, what the heck?
I know. So many sleepless nights.
Yeah. What does standby look like? Is it just you guys like basically sleep? Like I saw you guys were sleeping in the truck, just all cuddled up.
So standby is okay. So how we started this whole thing was actually on a whim. My sister was like, "I want to help these people. They've helped us out in Vernonia so many times when we've flooded. Why can't we just be humble?" And I was like, "All right, she just wanted to fly off the seat of her pants, and I'm like, no, we need a plan. Plan of motion. We need to protect ourselves. We need to protect these animals. We need to do this right way. We don't need to get in here and be all hectic. So I started the Facebook page for Nonia Calvary, and started linking up. I had Jessica Reese and Cassie Whitman. She was stationed in California. She's one of the girls that we helped become a cowgirl out here. Yes, we adopt very many children and make them our own. I don't know if that's insanity or being kind.
Is this what it looks like when you adopt children?
Yes. So the girl in the trailer, her name is Savannah, and that's Rochelle there. She's one of our networkers, and she was also out in the field with us quite a bit as well. That's when we were bringing the boar goats home, and those suckers, they dragged my 19-year-old son around like he was a beanbag. And so how you wrangle rams and, well, anything with horns is by their horns, because that's how you have full control. They can't get you. They can push you around. They sure did that to him a lot. It was pretty funny to watch.
No
but
goats
we were
pushing me
unloading the
around.
rams. Yeah, we were unloading rams into the holding pens. And I sent you pictures of our holding pens. That's where all the evacuated animals went. We had a staff of 13 teenagers out there on the clock, all the way around it, emptying water buckets every 3 hours, feeding, tending, making sure everybody was safe and comfortable, while all of us were out rescuing animals. And then things got kind of hectic and kind of scary. You were there. I was the chick that was called the psycho with a 308. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what a 308 is, you have no business talking trash. I'm not out there carrying a rifle on my leg strapped up. And that you were there that night, and that was pretty crazy. I almost got my head bashed in by some crazy redheaded dude with a rock.
That was an interesting evening. That was the scariest horse I've ever seen in my life, because the guy was like, "Hey, over there is this wild Mustang or whatever." Is that a derogatory term for a horse, a Mustang?
No.
Anyway,
Mustang means unhandled. Well, a Mustang is a wild creature, yes.
Well, that Mustang, I went over and he's like, "Maybe you could help with them." And I look over, and it started bucking the gate on the gate on the back of the trailer. And it like smashed it open and knocked over a section of gate and blasted right through this woman and sent her like doing a backflip. And I was just like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm going to go play lightsabers over here with the rest of the streamers. I'm good. I'm going to play flashlight wars. I don't want to do anything with that. I'm good.
Yeah,
it was a scary, it was a big horse too. It was big.
There's two things you need to know before you even handle a horse.
Write this down.
One, dominancy is important. So animals of creature of herd setting, you need to be established as a bigger and better, badder animal. You're definitely more intimidating to them if you
I do that
are
everywhere I go. I pee on Yeah.
I didn't say mark territory.
Well, that's how I do it. Okay, don't tell me I'm the dominant one here. I do it how I want to do it. All right.
Horses actually back up to their boundary line and poop. That's how they mark territory.
Me too. It's whatever. You know, assert dominance.
I can't be serious with you. You know that?
I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
That's how I handle business.
You know, when you come into any situation with any animal, you had better have your cojones ready, because you don't know what you're walking into. And
baby powder.
I got the nickname Bossy from the first video because I came in there horns ablazing. You over here, put your flashlight down. You don't know what you're doing. Create a barrier. You know, like I told you when we first met that night, I've been a cattle rancher's daughter for 35 years. And moving cattle is not for the faint at heart. And you can't be loud and you can't be crazy. You got to be tactful. And I'm sorry to the woman, if you're watching this, that got plowed out that night.
Man, you had just said, no, I'm going to tell them what happened. So you are just saying, you're like, all right, assert dominance, stand your ground, don't give way, just stand there and yell at them. And so immediately, like,
wait a minute,
huge
what was
bowl.
the key? the key, and it wasn't even a huge bull. It was heifer, probably a 2-year-old, and she had the weakest flashlight out there in the bunch. I said, "You need to shake your flashlight back."
Of course, because every cowboy comes with a flashlight. That's what it is. Your D batteries were running low. Okay. Well, this poor woman like jumps in front of this cow, and she's like, "You stop, cow! No!" And this thing was just like, "Yeah, whatever." Bam! And just straight like catapulted, double, like all 4 legs came off the ground, and it kicked her in the chest with all 4 of its legs. It was terrible. Launched her into the next field. And then she pulled her gun and was like, "I swear to you." I was like, "Just holster your weapon, lady, holster it."
Yeah, you better put
She about put one inside that cow. She was real close.
But hey, I will say that I was the first one to aid her. Are you okay? I think she was more embarrassed that she got plowed out than she was hurt.
No,
yes, I did.
You said, "Get your ass up and stop being lazy." That's what you said, word for word. And then she went. You put a hand out to help her up, and you said, "Do it yourself." I saw it. It was a bull.
When your camera was down, because your camera was down the whole time that period.
Maybe. Well, that's because I was too busy wrangling cows. I was busy chasing cows. I was busy. I had one by and then I pulled it in, and I was like, I made it go into the truck. I wrangled Basically, you guys were there to hold the camera and watch while I was busy doing all the hard work.
Manly shit. I got it. I got you. I know you're coming.
Lying.
Calm down, Blue Eyes.
Yeah, I'm lying. I did not. I think I did okay, but I'm still nursing my shoulder, like right here. Like that cow smashed me into the fence so hard, and I got tangled up in the barbed wire. But like last night I had to do physical therapy on my arm at the gym just because it was just like I still have issues. Like it's doing okay now.
Cowboy up and quit milking it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going for the sympathy card right here, guys. Whatever,
It's
trying to act tough. Whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, we kind of slowed things down on the cavalry. We made our last return just last weekend. The picture of the horse trailer in the sunset that you showed at the beginning was us taking 7 horses back to Estacada, Milano, somewhere. Yep, that was us. And that in itself was a chore. I got to commend the owner who was afraid of her horse, but working with it because it was a new horse to her. She didn't know it yet. On taking instructions very well about how to load, how to get everything going. We ended up dropping these guys out like a deep boarding facility in the middle of nowhere down a small gravel driveway. There was an old lady.
You were hazing them? Figure it out. That was like a Dwight Schrute situation.
Well, the reason why we ended up doing more instruction and less handling is we rescued, we were called in to Columbia County to bring 2 horses and 2 sheep back out to the Milano area, and was not told that these horses flip over backwards in horse trailers, don't load in 2 straights, and the owner had never handled them before. She'd always had her husband do it. And
sounds like a good horse owner.
It ended up being a 5-hour adventure trying to get one horse into the trailer, and we ended up having to step back because, I mean, at the end of the day, for us as animal people, it is making sure that you end everything, regardless if it's a training exercise or not. You're asking these horses to get into a trailer and trust you with their own lives, and you want to end everything on a positive note. Well, the staff at Columbia County ended up intervening. A couple hours later, the horse got loaded, but the owner did not want to unload her own horses once we got to her property. And my 13-year-old nephew, the beast that was carrying the doghouse, ended up going in there. He's really good with animals. He's been working with his mom, who's a horse trainer for many years, my twin sister, with horses. Well, the horse.
He went one punch. He went in there with one punch, huh?
No. I wish. So the horse ended up blowing in the trailer, and basically what blowing means, it freaked out and it flopped itself down on my 13-year-old nephew, pinning him underneath him in the exact trailer that we seen just a little bit ago. My nephew got hurt. The owner was concerned about her animal. And then
you looked over the edge of the trailer and you were like, "Get up, lazy."
No, actually, I was dealing with the other horse that had gotten unloaded prior to that. And so at that point in time, we decided it would be best in our own interest to let the owners load and unload their own animals for liability purposes.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, we're out here just doing good things and being humble and kind, and we don't want to end up with a lawsuit. I don't know if you heard.
How would you get a lawsuit? Like, tell me about that. Like, what was going on that had things? Because I'm gonna tell everyone that was watching, like anyone that was watching that, like we got a really odd greeting from a lot of people down there. There's a lot of people that are very on edge.
Yes.
You and I had an experience on that farm, Shady
Yes.
Acres, where
Yeah.
we got and then he threw me off the farm for streaming. You know, he freaked out about that.
Skippy the leprechaun there.
Whoever he was, yeah, I'm not allowed to say anything apparently because defamation of character or whatever he thought I was going to go for. So,
Yeah.
but either way, but one of the things that got me was that like a lot of people were very concerned about outsiders, and I think that with what you do, that's a tough one because it's you're out there trying to help in situations that are really undefined, right? Like you don't really know. Sometimes you just see a farm and there's a horse there, and you know that the people might have left and maybe they couldn't get to their horse. That's what Zach was doing. People had to just let their horse out of the pen and then take off and go somewhere else, just to get their family to safety. So, like, did you find it? Go ahead.
We came at this with a different approach than most people just showing up. We wanted owner contact. We wanted constant contact and communication with owners at all time. We took photo description of each animal. We labeled each pin with the owner's name and phone number and the description of the animal in there, what location we picked up. We had about 4 or 5 girls running networks for us that kept us organized at all times. So even if we were in the field and it was chaotic, everything on the back sheet was organized and diplomatic. We would not step on property without owner permission. And we would make sure that the contact we had with owners was direct contact and not third party. And as far as liability goes, I mean, I don't know if anybody's been keeping up on Cowgirl 911 or any of the Cowboy 911 or any of the other rescue pages, but there's a lot of animals that have gone missing.
Someone hit me up today, actually, or yesterday about goats, and I sent them your way.
Yes, so this gentleman was confused, and this is why we do things so orthodox, is because many years ago, we started a rescue with my dad, Goldilocks, and my mom, Torrance, and we started rescuing abused and neglected animals. We even were so far into the rescuing that we were hooked up through sheriff's departments and doing property seizures, and it was all out of our own money. No donations. Wow. No, it was all privately done. We did it for about 7 years. When we realized that our parents were just getting too old to be able to manage this anymore, we kind of gave them the supervisor position, and me and my sister dived in. And then when I moved to Forest Grove, I had a beautiful piece of property, and I continued to rescue horses. And when you get into that field, it gives you experience for exactly what we did during this whole unprecedented fire situation. We got in there. We handled things, kept strict. It's all about protecting yourself, but also doing good for the animals. And, you got to come in a little bit more aggressive than most people will because you don't know what you're going through and you need to get boundaries established really quick. Hey, I'm here to help you. You don't have to act this way. If you don't want the help, you can refuse it. We can walk away.
Yeah.
So we kept very strict contact and record of all animals that we took in or transported, period. And this gentleman posted on our website, our admin, one of our admins, Jessica, tagged me in it, and I responded to him. I am so sorry, sir, that you lost your animals, but unfortunately, the cavalry did not pick up, haul, or remove any of your goats. Then he later got on and was like, apparently it was a disgruntled neighbor that got involved. So
really,
I don't know what happened any further from that, but we kept a record log of all animals that we hauled, took in, or just moved to Clackamas County. I think all in all, throughout the 2-week period that we were offering our services, we probably rescued about 200 to 300 animals.
Wow. Wow.
And yeah, and we have all the log of that. This house here is, what's that lady's name? What's her name with the cows? The sweet lady that was at Clackamas County with us, and she pulled us off a side. What was her name? Penny. Can't remember her name right now. So this is her property, and she was so happy that we came back. And not to get political or bring any of the crap that's been going on in Portland in this matter, but while we were up there, CJ, wrangling all of these cows, my best friend was down at her other property with a group of like 15 trailers trying to load up the other cows down there. Well, when we went down there, it was a very aggressive, pretty much like Skippy Leprechaun's place. And I was like, no. We're pulling out. Get out of here. I pulled my little brother out. He was down there with his wife. We pulled up, went back to the top address that the owner had given us. And my girlfriend called me and said, where are you? I was like, I'm at the top property. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, we just got done hauling all these animals into the trailer. This was before you guys were already there during this situation, because we had already loaded up 9 cows, 3 calves, and probably about 20 goats.
Yeah.
And I'd already taken them down to Clackamas County Fairgrounds, and we're on our way back, and then we met you. Well, during that transfer time, I'm not going to say it was them, but the word Antifa was being thrown around. These members claiming to be a part of this group had come down there with frozen water bottles and guns, and were shooting out tires, laying off rounds in the air, and busted out about 16 windows out of the trucks down there. And everybody dispersed.
Did you ever hear, like, did you have any kind of, like, physical exchanges with anybody that, like, and real fast, just so you guys know what we're doing here is I was going through this house at this point to make sure there was no other animals. I don't want people to think that we're, like, robbing the joint. We were just making sure that this evacuated house, there was no other animals left behind in this house, or that there was no people that were left in the house that needed evacuating. But so you're saying that people were, I remember you mentioning that there was, people were shooting at the trailers, and.
Yes. And they had come through with frozen water bottles and were throwing them at the people down there, the rescuers and haulers. And they had gone by and busted out 16 different windows out of all of these trucks that were down there. And then there was gunfire exchanged, and everybody dispersed and ended up leaving cows down there because of the situation. The owner was able to get more cavalry down there to pick up the remaining cows. But it was, I remember hearing a lot of hollering and screaming down there when we were up at the top trying to get animals loaded into our trailers and this other gal's trailer that had showed up there. And I thought maybe they were just yelling at the cows. And it wasn't maybe but 15 minutes later, my girlfriend, Tasha Stratton, she was also a part of the Benoni Cavalry. She called me and was like, get the hell out of there right now. We're all in danger. And she said that there were a group of people down there claiming to be part of Antifa, destroying trucks and trailers and firing guns.
You know, did they
now,
actually?
I can't account for that myself.
Right, and that's where I always question, because I'm not going to go too far down that Antifa hole, but
neither am I.
I legitimately have never really met anybody who has ever said, like, hey, I'm Antifa and this is what I'm here to do. You know, it's just kind of, so yeah. I mean, that's why I was curious if they had an actual physical exchange with anybody that was like, hey, we are here to stop you from saving animals, so we're going to shoot at your cars.
No,
I mean, it's just, I don't understand where the.
Yeah, basically what I gathered from my girlfriend Tasha was that they were trying to disable the rescuers from being able to evacuate out of that area. Now, if you
what kind of asshole freezes water bottles? Like, just throw a rock like a normal human being. Why do you have to take the time to freeze a water bottle? Like, that's just, anyway. But you were saying.
I don't know. That's what I was thinking. Like, what? That takes a lot of time and effort. That's like 3 days in the freezer. You know, like, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Bill Nye the Science Guy here. Let's do the math.
That's on you.
Right?
That's on you.
Coolers. I don't know. So I don't know. I know that also during that night on that particular road, we ran into a lot of people trying to run us off the road intentionally. There's my daughter. She helped rescue too. When we were hauling out of there were people taking up the roads, literally trying to run us off the road intentionally. And it was in that particular area. And it wasn't like somebody that you would expect to be in the neighborhood. I will say that. It was very suspicious activity because after that night, we didn't have people try and run us off the road. We didn't have any more activity like that other than Skippy the leprechaun. So as far as I'm concerned, the only other awkward and made me like, question things is when we were running from Oregon City to Molalla to Clackamas. Literally, there were like a group of people. I'm not a profiler, but there were a group of people out there did not look like they were out there to help, nor did they look like they belonged in this town. Sitting on the side of the road with like 6 or 7 full gas cans, full of gas.
Now you saw this with your own eyes.
And then we drive past them. I saw this with my own eyes. God strike me dead right now if I am lying. Go for it, Kayla.
That's crazy to me.
When we drove past them at first, they were pulled off on the side of the road in like a little grassy area. And they literally had up to like 5 or 6 gas cans. And you could tell they were full. I mean, you know the difference between a non-empty gas can and a full one.
Yeah,
and
one has fluid in it,
like,
the other
weird.
one doesn't.
Well, yeah, and you can also see the line. But we drove past them, and then when we drove back through, there was another truck with them, and they were all just standing around. You'd think if somebody had ran out of gas that they would already been on their way.
Wow. You know, I can say,
not one to speculate.
Right, but I will say this though. I know that they did a lot of in the forensics of the fire. Some of the confusion came in because they had said that some of the fires were started. They were man-made fires. Now, the distinction that I think everyone needs to be aware of is that man-made doesn't mean somebody went out and poured gasoline onto a stump and lit it on fire.
Exactly.
It could be somebody didn't put out a campfire properly. And I know the one in Paisley, they traced that back down to a cigarette butt, I think, on a hiking trail that somebody
up there
put
was
out.
hiking and smoking a cigarette.
Right.
And flicked the cigarette and got ignited.
And then you have an entire Paisley blew my mind because we watched that whole mountainside burn. Like we got down because we got there the night before you guys, or you got down there that night, but you stayed at your property in Christmas Valley, I think it was, right? I think that's where you were.
No, we stayed at Albert's place.
Oh, you stayed at Albert's place.
No, we were at Albert's place.
Okay, because I know when we got there, it was
back,
the whole thing.
Yeah, we drove from the Clackamas County Fairgrounds straight out to Paisley, and we drove straight through the fire lines and everything. You guys were already stationed where you were at, but we drove to my Uncle Albert's house, and we stayed there the night.
Good old Uncle Albert.
Yeah, and then we met all you guys in the morning time.
Yeah, but what we saw, which was crazy that day, was the fire had gone from. I mean, there's other pictures. Basically, it looked like the picture behind us right here, which is to say that like it was this entire mountainside that was burning, and it went from the far. I mean, it spread to like 3 different ridge lines. When we were at Uncle Albert's place and we looked across the street, and there was all of the what kind of animals were those? They were out in the field. Those were
antelope.
Antelope. There was a bunch of antelope there, and I remember seeing. We watched it move from one ridge line to the other in the course of like 30 minutes. It just started jumping from hillside to hillside. It blew my mind that, they were able to, it moved so fast and it was moving to the mountains. And it basically had completely circled all of Paisley. I mean, it moved so incredibly quick. Yeah. But that was from someone with a cigarette butt.
Out there in high desert, the wind there's always a breeze. It's never, you go from 102 degrees during the day down to freezing temperature at night, even in the hottest part of the weather. But the problem is how those fires move so quickly is it's always windy out there.
Yeah. It's just a big valley, basically. So, like, the wind just flies through there pretty fast, yeah.
The wind tunnel, yeah, for sure.
How are the fires doing now? Like how? I mean, in your
So the last I heard, I posted on our website that the Breachy Creek fire was at 59%, and it was like 100 contained, and like 158,000 and some change acres burnt. The Riverside fire, which was the largest fire to hit Clackamas County, is only 37% contained, but they did lift all of the evacuation orders for Clackamas County on Tuesday.
Wow.
And which is a big relief. Personally, I had spoken to you about it once before. The Echo Creek fire out in Willamina was also just as devastating, but they got that one under control a little bit quicker. My girlfriend out there, they had just bought their house and just had a brand new baby, and their whole house is gone. They have no home to come to.
I saw, and for whatever reason, that picture that you sent, it didn't post to the feed that I had set up for all the pre-queued pictures. But we'll make sure to follow back up if they have a link to anything where we can try to generate any traction.
They do have a GoFundMe set up. I'm not quite sure what the fundage is at or expected to get. I know I have been sharing it like crazy to try and help them. It's devastating. They left their home in a quick hurry and came back to an absolute total loss.
If you have, and you can put it in the comments over, I mean, if you're watching right now on your phone, I don't know if you're able to add.
Weird stream thing. I don't know if I can.
And I'm not the guy to figure that out either. Is it on your page by chance?
It is on my Facebook page, but I don't know how.
And then she just dropped off the feed. Well, we're figuring it out as we go, guys. I think we're all learning. Hopefully, she'll come back on here in just a moment. And then hopefully that'll, we'll be able to get the GoFundMe. What you guys are seeing right here, these cows. This is when we try to wrangle these cows into the back of this trailer. Not as easy as you might. I mean, not as easy as wrangling a cow, because that sounds like a super easy prospect. Here we go. I think she's popping back in here, and we'll give it just a second. We'll pull her back up. But yeah, what she's talking about is this family had to rush to get out of their home, and they didn't have any insurance to cover that. There we go. And you're back.
Okay, I'm back on. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not.
Yep, can hear you.
Okay, I don't know what happened there. I can have my goddaughter get on there and try and set the link on the comments here to see if we can get that posted. Dobby, can you find Morgan DeLorean?
You know what I can do actually is I can have. Wait, did you just say DeLorean?
Yeah.
How does that play in? Fill me in on that one, and then we're gonna get back to this. Is DeLorean someone's name?
That's her last name.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because
Morgan and Adam.
Always dreamed of a DeLorean in my day.
I am, yeah.
Back to the Future.
Bring me your phone, child.
So one of my mods here, Shama, actually can hop into your Facebook page and find the link for that GoFundMe. We can throw it up here in the comments. There's Zach over here. Little Zach wrangling the cow. He was roping cows, man. That was impressive.
Zach, he was so funny.
He was such a young man. Just great kid. Zach, if you're watching, man, lots of love. You definitely showed up in a big way. And what's funny is I met Zach I didn't even meet him actually. I met him that night in a parking lot in Safeway. And he and I, someone had sent one of my viewers had sent me an email or a link in there, whatever, to a stream he was doing, and he was like, "Hey," and he was just talking. He's like, "I was just saving a horse," and I'm like, "Oh, I got to talk to this kid." So I sent him a quick message, and he messaged me back, and I was like, "Hey, I'm coming down right now. What do you think about meeting up?" And I just hopped in the car, much to the dismay of my mod team and my sister, who were looking to take a day or two to just chill out, and he just met me in a parking lot, man, and we hung out for like 3 or 4 days, and met up with you guys, and
good kid.
We went out there and roped cows. Yeah.
Yeah, I know him personally. He's a good kid.
That's good.
Honest. I mean, he's an honest cowboy. He's young for sure. He's as young as my older brother or my younger brother.
Yeah, he's definitely he's got some learning to do when it comes to things. We'll just leave that alone.
Yes.
But he's got a big
We'll
heart. We'll say that. He's got a big heart.
Yeah.
Big heart on him. Big heart.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as everything's going on in the cavalry, we've kind of like slowly dwindled out of it. There was a little bit of an issue with a goat at one of the fairgrounds that I read on Facebook about going missing, and that's
one goat. That was like
one goat got away from its transporter. I think it was at Polk County Fairgrounds. And I heard that there was a girl that got wiped out completely by this goat.
A goat?
Yes, a goat. A meat goat, which they're pretty big. I mean, if you want to compare a meat goat to like dog size, they're like the size of a Great Dane.
I'm going to just venture out on a limb here, but assume that all goats are made of meat. Am I not wrong?
No, there's a difference between a dairy goat, a meat goat, a pygmy goat, a dwarf goat, a fainting goat. There's like a lot of different things.
Sorry, you said goat and I fell asleep. My bad.
You know what that stands for? Greatest of all time.
I'm all too aware.
Right? Mind blown.
As your name pops up on the screen. Well played. Are you controlling my screens right now? I think that's what's happening right now.
I am not.
I'm pretty sure that's happening right now.
That's just another reason why we kind of dwindled out. We made our last transport with those 7 horses back out to the Malino area. It was a successful return. I was trying to say earlier that we showed up in the middle of the night, and there was this elderly woman, and it was as if she was seeing her grandbabies for the very first time. She was so emotional, tears running down her face, biggest smile. When she got I helped her put her horses into her stalls. When she was done, I don't think I've been hugged that hard, that long, and it felt that good by somebody, a complete stranger, ever in my life. You could really feel the empathy about how thankful she was that we did this for her. And, you know, a lot of us weren't accepting donations. You know, we really just wanted to show chivalry. Like, there are still honest, good country folk out there that are willing to lend a hand if you're willing to take it. So that right there was rewarding in itself. And it really made us feel like we had done the right thing once we started getting the cavalry down to a closing point. We are leaving the page up. We will offer services coming this winter if there are any like flooding issues or things of that nature. We're not afraid to go out there and deal with that. I mean, we live in Vernonia. We're all too familiar with flooding.
Flooding. Tell me a little about that. What are you talking about with the flooding?
2015 in my house, when it did a minor flood, I had 5.5 feet of flood water in my garage.
That's a terrible place to keep flood water.
Yes, dear, that is taller than you. Yeah, you're 4'11". Well, no. So the Nehalem River runs almost parallel with our house, and then it veers off going down north towards Astoria. And out here, we've got multiple creeks that feed into the Nehalem River. If you're familiar with, the Salmon Festival out here, that's a big shindig for us redneck folk. We love watching the salmon spawn up the river.
Each their own.
It's worth a shot, CJ. So there's so many inlets and outlets of water, bodies of water around here, that it backs up quickly and there's no place for it to go. So Vernonia is very commonly known for the 96 and 2007 flooding. And this town was nearly, I want to say, I'm sure I'll get corrected by some old timers, but about 75% underwater. My house was on ground level. It's raised now. But my house was on ground level and you couldn't even see the roof.
Wow.
So my house was raised 14 feet in the air.
So now, wait, your house is 14 feet in the air?
Correct.
That's like, I don't know, like a story and a half in the air, like, right?
Yes.
How,
Yes.
how do you put a house 14 feet in the air? Like, that seems excessively high. Like, is it just on stilts?
There's a foundation that so let's see what my battery level is at. So 9%. Good enough to go outside for a minute. Okay.
I'm intrigued, people.
I'll try and demonstrate here.
You're gonna see like the tallest house on the planet. Not the biggest, the tallest, mind you.
So I don't know how to flip my camera around, but I'll
You turn it the other way.
you.
That's how you do it.
No, I'm on face. I don't know how to do that.
No, now you turned it off. There you are.
Yep, it won't let me. So
You just have to turn it around like this.
So this is my stairs. And then let me see. I'll make it a hell of a lot easier for everybody here. Oh, my lights aren't coming then. So this is the foundation to my house. This up there is the actual bottom of my house. So
Okay.
This is hardy plank. That up there is my window. The water in 2015, my lights just went off. The water in 2015 was up to here. This is a flood vent, and this is the ground.
Dang.
So that was a minor flood.
That was a minor flood. So you guys have wildfires, and now to look forward to is the potential for flooding, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's I guess I don't know anything different because I've grown up in a floodplain and wildfire country my whole life.
Could I just pause you for a second? Is somebody dying near you? Because I just keep hearing. What's it? What is this pose you have going? Leg up.
She has allergies really bad, and it's been 80s, like Phil had told you, Mike Peel. It's been in the upper 80s, but I have a lake next to my house and the river, and it gets very humid, and it brings in a lot of the fall pollen, and she instantly gets gummed up. And you need to take Mary Poppins medicine. Yes, you are.
That's not happening tonight.
Wait. What's Mary Poppins was a spoonful of sugar.
A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine.
That helped the medicine go down. That's right. So what was the medicine?
NyQuil.
Don't believe her. That's not happening.
We call that the babysitter where I'm from.
Yeah, no, she hates taking cold medicine. She hates doing anything her mom says. So, I mean, well, those benefits of having children. Just a prep talk real quick for you.
I've got a lot of notes that I've been taking about how to get my life situated and going in the right direction now.
No kidding. Take all the notes you can. The best advice I can give you is stop looking for love. Love will find you when you least expect it.
Oh, I full on abandoned that quest a while ago.
Always have hope. Always have faith. Things will always work out.
I'm sure that it's right around the corner. It's right around the corner.
You need to take your medicine, go to bed. It's 9:30. It's past your bedtime. Don't tell me no. Your dad's still awake because he's texting me.
Wait a minute. Is 9:30 the new bedtime for people?
No. Well, we grew up old school, so nobody was allowed to call your house phone after 9 o'clock because it was disrespectful. But my daughter refuses to get up like normal people do at 8 o'clock in the morning. So
what does she have to get up for? What's going on?
School.
Oh yeah, kids have school. We talked about that. That's right. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know what's worse, having school with mom or having school actually in a classroom. Kayla Ann Marie. Now my other daughter's choking on pineapple because you're mimicking me.
No.
Don't you? Well, I wasn't gonna say anything, but hey, you know what trolls eat? Pineapple. Just saying. Just saying.
Oh, and the troll out of the bedroom is yelling, "She's taking her medicine!"
But I will soon, Ms.
Oh my God.
Ms. Higgins.
Dude,
Man.
I tell you what. But yeah, like I said, there's never a dull moment in my house, and sorry to all the people watching. Mom life always continues, no matter if you're on social media, TV, or not.
Hashtag mom life forever.
24/7.
They never, even if they get older and wipe their own butts, you still get to deal with them.
Aww. Wipe their own heinies. That's great. Look at Adam Costello looking all pissed off because he had to do something. You see, did everyone just see Adam walk by like, I hate life? He kept getting yelled. Do you remember He was so Adam. You may not know Adam. You for sure you do know who he is now, since you guys met us down there. But I kept making him do stuff like work with me, and he was like, I wanted like dragging these sections of fence to help build the corral, and he was so like, I don't. And we kept telling him to hold the gate, and he was just like, I don't know what to do. But he stepped up. There's when I messed up my shoulder.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's coming.
No, I had already heard it. I was just trying to drag that fence, and I was like, no, these cows were demonic, man. I tell you what.
They were terrified for their life. They didn't know what's going on.
How do you think we felt, man? They should have been sympathetic to my cause. I don't have horns. Selfish bastards.
Horns or not. We're out there hooting and hollering and moving them out of where they only know they're safe. That's why most people were cutting fences, because when danger actually approaches and the flames are already there, animals' natural instinct will kick in and they'll run. You know, what do you think we do?
Yeah.
We run when things are scary. We don't stand and fight.
I do.
Who is that? Is that Zach swinging that rope right there?
Yeah, he was like whipping the ground with the rope to.
The door's not even open.
I think we were just trying to get him into that little corral area and like shut the gate behind him.
I know. I think this is where my sister goes ham on somebody for smashing the calf's leg. That's when the one tried to go through the other side.
Yeah.
That was pretty chaotic. It didn't seem that chaotic when we were there, but watching the video, I don't know if it's your cameraman or you or what's going on, but it seemed pretty chaotic.
It was because we were trying to get it figured out, but it was such an undescribed situation. Like there was no. I think Jared was holding my feet at this point, and I was out in the pen with Zach. I think trying to get because I remember he had the rope tied around the baby, and then he had it around this post up here, and man, that whole thing was nuts, man.
It was pretty. I mean, I guess it felt like it ran so smoothly that it didn't seem as chaotic up until actually watching the footage. But I will say that everybody, like, once everybody understood, like, how to properly corral these cows, it went pretty smoothly. And everybody's efforts that night were so appreciative beyond reason. And I can't thank you guys enough for that, because that little old lady that was up there, will you quit? Go to bed.
You better plug in your phone, by the way. You were at 9% a minute ago. So
It's already plugged in.
Cool.
That lady was so appreciative. I seen her a couple days later when we were still stationing at the Clackamas County Fairgrounds, and we're basically on standby. She actually came out of her way to come down there, and she got out of her car, and she gave us all a hug. She told us how much that she was thankful for everybody that was there, and she wished that she would have been able to talk to each and every one of us to tell them how grateful she was. Yeah. And so I guess I'm kind of doing that for her now. You know, we made some friends down at the Clackamas County Fairgrounds, the mayor of Canby.
So cool. Yeah, I saw that you guys got a chance to talk to him. It was so cool. I mean, the coolest thing I think real fast about this day out here was I remember we had loaded up as many cows as we could and the goats, and there was like dogs and goats in the back of cars, and we were like we ran out of room. We had no more room to get the rest of the cows, and right then like 3 more trailers pulled up, and they were like, we saw the feed, we're here to help. And they were like, the fire is like just less than a quarter mile down the street, we got to get out of here. And like we were able to pull in another trailer and get the last of the cows loaded up and then get out of there. I was just like, man, it was so cool that people just showed up and like made it happen. You know, like you guys showed up. We were like we had no clue what we were doing, just running around like idiots, like you said, flashlighting and trying to wrangle cows. But then, but then you guys showed up, and then the progression of that was the backup trailers that we needed showed up, and then we crowd out. I don't remember what was the lady's name. Was it Johnny or Jamie or Jenny? I can't remember the woman's name. I drove her truck and trailer out of there. She was like, I need to get my truck trailer out of here, and so I drove one of those, her truck out. It was the woman who's, I think it was her cows and goats that we were getting out of there that first night.
I can't remember her name. I think her name. Yeah. I can't remember. I can't remember what her name was. She. I think
Jerry.
I actually
her name was Jerry.
Jerry.
Man, Jerry. My viewers are on top. Samantha, Amber, Tiffany. I'm pretty sure you guys all threw that in. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
Dealing with so many people through a short span of time, you definitely lose thought and process of how many people's names you can't keep.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. I am going to tell you kids one more time to go to bed.
She's putting down the mama hammer. Grounded. Ooh, they're going to be grounded.
Y'all need to take your medicine.
Get to bed now.
You need to get to bed. I didn't get you in trouble. You don't need to be out here. You already took your medicine. Get in bed. Brody?
Get into bed now.
Get in line then.
This is awesome. Parenting.
Your dad.
If I have to tell you one more time.
I'm telling you. Sorry, viewers. Real life parenting. There is
hashtag mom life. The mama hammer.
No filter. Yeah. No filter.
Get into bed now. Yeah, Jerry's farm. Yeah.
Jerry was pretty amazing.
Question.
I'm going outside too. What?
Someone just said the llamas and camels are related. So Iris Bozeman just said, so a llama is like a baby camel. Is that? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I can factually fact check that, but I do know that they are in the relative of the family. But I mean, an alpaca looks like a llama. A llama looks like an alpaca. I can see where the replicate can be from a camel to a llama because of their elongated snout and how their nose is squishy. But they definitely don't have humps on their back, so. But did you know why people have llamas and alpacas inside of their herds, though?
Hope? I don't know.
They're guardian animals. They will kill a predator.
What kind of predator? Like an angry chicken cougars, or like a marauding ferret?
What do you two need? Yeah, have some, please. Do you need something? Now my older children are bugging me. I go outside, and now I've got the two older ones.
Listen here, children. Don't make me.
There's my older son, Hunter.
On to you. Hunter, how are you, bud? Thanks for delivering pig bread.
Yeah.
Though I don't encourage people to make bread out of pigs. Not cool, but whatever, man. You do your part. Hey, don't feed your sister pineapple. She can't handle it. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Yeah, these kids, I'm not supplying.
This is where that cow beat me up, right here in the screen.
Yeah, this is where...
I got inside the little corral with it, or
and then
the
you
trailer.
Had to climb over. Yeah, you had to climb over the divider.
Yeah, that's right. Where it started just kicking the hell out of me, and then Zach was over on the other side, and he fell over into the cow.
Yeah,
it was so traumatizing. Oh.
It was. Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's so many things missed that you got caught on camera that I didn't even realize happened until later on.
Yeah, I was nuts. Yeah, that's where it was getting me. I was trying to get away from it, but I couldn't. If you guys are seeing this right now, this is where the cow was just beating me up, and I was trying to climb up. That little bastard just booted the hell out of that cow. I was up on top of the thing, and then Zach climbed up on top of me. That whole experience was ridiculous. Oh my God. And then he had to climb over. Look
He's
at us
stuck
clowns,
here,
man.
actually. He's stuck right here. I remember him telling me he got like his pants or his shirt stuck on something and he couldn't get all the way over.
And then I moved my arm and he fell over. That's
Yeah.
right. He was leaning on my arm.
Yeah, and then the cow took him for a ride right there and then trampled his little ass.
That's right. Oh my
You're
God.
like, help me get it! You look like a Titanic victim right there.
I was just trying to clamber onto the headboard. I was like, there's room for two. There's room for two. Oh my gosh, dude, that was so ridiculous. I mean, I'm just so glad that we were able to get those animals out of there and like, you know, I got a lot of respect and a whole newfound respect for like cattle ranching, and I'm really excited. Like, I really want to spend a day on the farm, like doing what cowboys do. So I'm gonna come back down to Oregon, and I want to do like a day doing the wrangling, like cowboying it up. If there is actual cowboy action going on in Oregon, because I'm gonna spend a day with Mike Peel doing some lumberjack stuff. You know.
All right, well,
Day in the life of
we'll
lumberjack.
start you off first here, cowboy, on how to learn how to ride a horse before you wrangle any cows.
You sit on its back. How tough can that be?
Dude, Dobby?
It's really hard.
Don't even play right now, okay? I had like a 5-month dating camp.
We crash course you since you're only going to be down here for a couple of days. It's going to be really small, but we'll definitely make you have a lot of views.
Okay, as long as I don't have to have muck boots, whatever those are.
No muck boots. You need cowboy boots, though.
Wait. Okay, I can get into that. This is going to be an amazing opportunity for me to cowboy it up.
You need no Romeos. There's not enough heel on that. You need to get a pair of cowboy boots.
Did you just say there's not enough heel on that?
Yes.
You need extra heel to be a cowboy?
You definitely need to have at least an inch and a half.
What if I have like 2-inch pumps like on a Mary Jane? Something open toe?
Listen here, we're not going to be doing Slitty Slickers 3 here.
Do you have what does spurs do? What is a spur for?
Spurs are not for every horse.
I thought spurs were for people. You put spurs on horses?
No, you put spurs on your boots and that helps your horse move off of pressure. It
Wait,
also
you make
helps
boots
move
out of
the
horses?
Forward. No, you have to use your legs to kick a horse. That's how
Wait.
you move a horse in the saddle is you use your heels as pressure on their side to move them the way you want them to go.
It's weird.
Pretty sure you're making this up, but
So it's like flat right here. Oh,
yep, that's the flat part.
Yeah. And then you like how it
Heel
like
extension, dog.
how it like divots down.
Makes you about an inch taller.
That's so
nice.
you can
Oh, so it's just
put
wait,
your
hold on.
stirrup in there.
Let me see that. Hold that up again. Let me see that again. Okay, so how much heel is on that cowboy boot? That looks
About
like
half an inch.
that looks like it looks like basically looks like something out of the 70s, like, you know what I mean, like platforms. It looks like a half a platform.
You're being drama. And then
I'm
this
just
is
saying.
just normal Romeo. Like
A Romeo? Is that the name of like is that a slip-on?
yes, it's called a Romeo.
Those are so comfy.
You just you slip it on? Looks like
Here. Here.
closed, basically like closed toe Crocs. They're like cowboy Crocs. Is what you got. right
These
there.
are the cowboy
Yes,
Crocs.
thank you.
These are the cowboy Crocs. These ones aren't worn in. Boom.
This is ridiculous. Are those really
Yeah,
comfortable?
you're right. Yeah, they're comfortable as frick, dude.
Show me.
Show you. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
but
like
it's
agile in it.
there you go. That's good.
They're
It's
comfy.
working, man. It's working.
They're
Good
all
stuff.
around shoe. They're basically, I mean, they're made out of leather. They've got a tough sole. He fell in a river one time trying to save a goat during this whole extravaganza, and his foot didn't get wet.
So they're like the cowboy cross trainer.
Pretty much.
Okay. I can
You
get down with
still
that.
play basketball in them, so kinda.
They're a little heavy.
Okay,
My
just because you're wearing them
all-star
doesn't mean you can play
athlete over
basketball.
here.
Let's just call it what it is, okay? Let's just call it what it is.
He's calling you out, bro.
What is he talking shit about?
Basketball.
I suck at basketball. I straight admit, I'm trash
There it
at
is.
basketball.
Okay.
I
Good.
suck at basketball so bad.
But he was reserve champion both sides of the ball for football in his senior year of high school. He got a full scholarship to go down to Weed, California for that, but his mom talked him out of being in debt in college for the rest of his life.
So, but I thought that he got a scholarship to go play.
He didn't get the scholarship to go play. He got the scholarship for the education that he didn't even know what he wanted to be in. But
Gotcha.
at 19 years old, he's making $20 an hour as
That's
a maintenance millwright.
That's awesome.
So,
You know,
and they're about
I'm
to
not.
move into their first apartment. I can't wait.
When you say they, you mean?
So this is his girlfriend.
Oh, it's all making sense. The Pineapple Queen. Okay, I got it.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
The second one.
So Hunter isn't biologically my son. I have been his godmother since what? You were 7?
Yeah.
7 years old. How I met Hunter was through his little brother James, who happens to be my biological son Brody's best friend. They got in a fight for shit talking each other in the 2nd grade and been best friends ever since. And so
Aww.
I got to adopt 2 more kids and then a 3rd one.
Who's the me? Who said me? I heard a third, and then you looked one direction. Oh, that one.
The Pineapple Queen.
You keep it down over there.
Ever.
We're trying to do something professional.
That's my mom.
Adult talk.
Shut up.
Adults, though. Yeah, we're adulting right now.
But yes, that's
That's not
how
what
these
happens with me,
kids.
guys.
That's why when I say the misfit of children, like
Right.
me and my sister, we get all these kids in. When I met her, she's like, I'm never going to be a cowgirl. I don't even want to earn cowgirl boots. 1 week later, Mom, I want a horse. And then we went down to the kill pens.
The what?
And kill pens?
Kill, K-I-L-L, pins?
That's correct.
Okay, immediately I don't want to go there, but apparently you're going to tell me a little about it.
So it's a very hard thing for a cowgirl to talk about. But it is illegal to slaughter horses in the United States for human consumption, but it is not illegal to do that in Mexico or Canada. So certain people take their horse through auction, and they have people that are called kill buyers come in, and they buy up all these horses, and they get paid a certain percentage by the pound. And how they end up doing that is they have a networking system through Canada or New Mexico, and these meat markets buy the horses from them, and then they are shipped across state lines and they are put to death just for the consumption for humans. It's been going on for many years.
The saddest thing that I've ever heard in my life, but thank you for sharing it.
Yes, that's why I said it's a hard thing for a cowgirl to talk about. I have rescued many of horses from that situation, and unfortunately can't rescue them all. But one of the main reasons I rescued this particular horse for Dobby was because she was supposed to have been bred back, which means that she had a foal inside of her. And kill buyers buy pregnant horses because it's double the weight. So in turn, you're losing 2 lives instead of 1. So we rescued her, and the intent of saving 2 lives for the price of 1. And she ended up having a false pregnancy and just being extremely obese. But anyways, we love her. And Dobby's brought this one. You better do something before Dad comes out there and screams about those dogs whining. So this is what the misfit children in our lives, what we do as cowgirls is we find a horse, place it with a human, and they learn and they heal together.
Yeah.
And that's what our family has been doing forever. And that's how we heal these kids. You know, they don't feel like they fit in. They've got their own set of problems. We can put them on a horse. And, you know, therapeutic is real. You wouldn't believe that I have 5 dogs in my house, but I do.
Yeah.
That's my therapeutic.
You know, we talked to Robert earlier, like I said, and all of his horses. Well, with all of his horses, he does. They're therapy horses, a lot of them, and they do work with special needs individuals, developmentally disabled individuals, and I mean, it's just amazing. Like horses are just They're like big dogs, you know. They're just loving, like, and they have so much character, which I didn't realize. I mean, I'm not like totally foreign to horses, but there she goes again. But I will say this though, guys. So the horses, like out with Robert, and she's coming back on. Were super funny. Like they were playing with each other. You guys should pop over and check that full video out on YouTube. But like they were playing with each other through the gate, and like they were getting all temperamental with each other about who got what, and they just have tons. And Robert, was funny because as we were walking through, he was talking about each one of them and like what kind of character they had, and they were all stepping right up to the plate as to exactly like how he described them. So it's pretty amazing. Horses have personalities. Yes, Colleen, they do. But not camels. No, Tiffany, camels are without personality. They are full of anger and venom. I can tell you that from personal experience. But oh man, this is where that cow was getting buck nasty. That thing running around there, kicking everyone's butt. Crazy stuff. Yeah, so there she's back. I don't know if she's froze or not, though. We'll see. Yeah, so this is a kind of a grainy video here, but it was definitely it was a crazy experience all around the board, man. They have a donkey sanctuary in Northern Ireland. Nicola, I'm coming to Ireland. It's happening. Actually, I was looking at trying to travel and see how that works. But they're not letting people into Europe from the States. So I might be able to loophole that and go into Mexico and then fly out from Mexico, get overseas. No, Veronica, I do not secretly love camels. That is not a fact. This is the madness of that night. Just a ridiculous situation, guys. Like this whole thing was nuts. I could turn the volume on, but you just hear a bunch of people running around yelling at each other. So, Sarah, that's funny. Sarah says she saw a camel at a pumpkin farm today. Thought about your story. Yeah, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why they have a camel at a pumpkin farm. I suppose camels need love too, you know. But yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting back down to Oregon and spending some time with Mike Peel. And there's Elise. She's back.
Sorry, bad connection.
Yeah, you better figure it out, okay?
It's that time of the night. I'm trying here.
It's about that time. It's about that time
Usually
of the night for us too. We're
nights
creeping up.
For real. I was just gonna say it's past my bedtime. Staying up this late.
You're normally in what? It's 9:45.
I'm normally in bed by 9 o'clock.
You gotta
early to bed, early to rise.
You gotta get up early tomorrow and watch Murder She Wrote or something, or watch a reruns of Matlock. Yeah.
God, I wish I haven't watched that since my parents. Oh yeah, it's been a long time.
You have those old VHSs of Love Boat you need to put on and get your Afghan, lay it across
like
your lap.
PI or Texas Walker Ranger or, you know.
TWR? Oh man, that's my guy. Right on.
All right, well, I'm going to sign off so I can make sure that my children are in bed and everything's ready to start my day tomorrow. It was a pleasure talking with you again, CJ.
Oh,
and I commend you for your efforts out there on the front lines and all that you do.
Thank you so much.
I'll get you in touch with my sister so she can give you a cowboy day and you can experience riding a horse out here in the Pacific Northwest and have all those amazing views that you get daily. But it'll definitely be comical.
I'm looking forward to it. That's what I'm doing.
Perfect. I'll definitely get her in touch with you, and you guys can figure it out.
We're working towards making me man.
You know, you're definitely going to want to take probably a couple hours out of your time and enjoy the scenery. Enjoy the scenery out here in the woods.
Let's just pray to God that you guys get plenty of rain, the wind slows down, so there's plenty of woods left for me to enjoy.
I'm sure there would be. Next time you come out, make sure you bring your waders.
My waders?
Yeah.
My hip waders?
Yeah, like as in comical, like ha ha ha, flood zone.
You shut your mouth. You shut it right now.
All right, I'm signing off here. Thanks for your time today, and everybody have a great time. We'll talk to you soon.
You're awesome, Elise. We'll talk to you soon, okay? That was Elise, y'all. From Vernonia Calvary. So they're still, open to getting animals out, but they're not having to do as much now with the animals. So, yeah. So which is good. I mean, I know that even while we were down there, it kind of slowed down a little bit because there was like the panic because the evacuation zones had spread so fast, gone from levels 1, 2 to 3, that people were not able to get everything together. So that was scary stuff. Yeah, but it seems like things are slowing down. The fires are over halfway contained for the ones that we were talking about, over 59%, which is awesome. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting down there. Melissa, you're saying Bend. I keep hearing a lot about Bend, Oregon, and so I'm gonna have to do another tour through down through Oregon. And yeah, so if you guys want to go ahead and see the Paisley wildfires, if you come over to YouTube, there's the wildfires in Paisley. There's a video that's on there, and that was our experience. Really, just surreal. I mean, nothing I was expecting. I'll tell you guys what, like the last month and a half have opened up like experiences in my life that I had never like really ever planned on walking into. So, yeah. Terry, if someone with a Jason mask walks up to my window, I will personally come and shove you down. That's all I could think of. I couldn't think of anything menacing to say, but I definitely do not want that. I don't like being startled, guys. That's not my jam. So all my friends know that if you come up and if you scare me, you're on a 24-hour moratorium. You're not my friend for 24 hours. You immediately can leave my house. Like, oh, I got you, man. Be like, yeah, you jumped out of my sock drawer, you idiot. Like, it's gonna scare me. I'm just telling you guys. That's how that works. But so things to look forward to coming up. Tomorrow, guys, we're gonna be doing a recap of the Chaz Chop. Talking to some business owners, interviewing some of the folks in that area, and kind of keeping up with what's going on out there. We also are pushing into some things next week that are going to be pretty great. We got some interviews coming up in a weekend that's going to be pretty interesting. There's some rallies and some protests that are happening on Saturday that I'm going to be covering. So look forward to those as well. But definitely, anyone that's in here right now, like and share the stream. I know it was kind of a chill night. We didn't have as many people in here that we'd have to worry about, which is good. These studio sessions typically are pretty laid back, but it's good to just make sure you guys know that we're out here doing it still. Pop over to YouTube, check out some of the channels, some of the videos we've got over there. We're going to be releasing, if not every day, every other day, some videos that we've gone through. If you haven't seen some of the stuff that was on my previous page, it was taken down or was put on hold. Yeah, so like it says there's Chop, revisiting the Chop. So Friday is revisiting the Chop, and then Saturday is they've got this. It's like a car mega rally. It's called the Mega Drag, and it's happening in Olympia. And then there's also a protest against the lockdown, against the quarantine situation. So it'll be interesting. But that being said, yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. I know we got a chance to kind of hang out. It's not your protest coverage, which is honestly, it's kind of nice for me. It's good to have a laugh and just kind of hang out. Obviously, I'm going to be back out there doing what I do. I want to thank you guys all for helping support the stream with the links that are listed down here as they run across. It definitely helps make it possible for me to do what I'm doing and to cover things moving forward. So a lot coming up, a lot of things happening, guys. A lot of things are changing in the world right now. It seems like every day something new pops up that needs to have a light shined on it that otherwise has kind of slipped through the cracks. So that's kind of what we're doing here. These live streams are able to hopefully just get a different angle on coverage. You know, things like what we did tonight. I got to tell you guys, like, it's so nice to be able to touch base with people that we've worked with in the already, and to kind of check in on people and see how they're doing, and just some of the most amazing people I've got a chance to work with. So, um, yeah. So I appreciate you guys for being a part of it. I appreciate you guys for sharing the stream, and for just being a part of this community. So I'm gonna wrap it up for the night. It's been pretty chill. It's been pretty chill. I know it's about that time. Things are gonna start cracking off in Portland, as usually, and I'm sure things are happening already around the nation. I haven't even tuned in to see what's going on because I've been here. So, um, yeah, Christine, Mike is single. Keep that in mind. Mike Pill, he's a catch. Um, so let's see. Anyway, yeah. No, Colleen, I'm not joining any groups. To be very clear. So, you guys come back, check us out tomorrow. We'll be back doing the things we do, keeping it gravy. Thank you, mods, for chilling out. And I know we started off the conversation this evening talking about some stuff that got people a little fired up, but I'm just glad you guys were able to hang out and keep it cool. So we'll see you guys. Yeah, I know I keep hearing about this Portland situation right now. So, but we'll be back. I'll be back out in the field doing my live thing, mic in hand here tomorrow. So stay tuned, and we'll be seeing you soon. Okay. Yeah, tomorrow, Friday, the Chop Revisited. So we'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thanks so much for coming out and hanging with me tonight. CJ, the king of long goodbyes. See you guys soon. All right. Take care.